Hello, my friends. How are you doing? I tried to use the timer today, first time ever. So, yeah, um, I'm not sure. Tell me if you like that in the chat, if that is useful or not. I saw it on another stream and I thought maybe that's a good idea to have these, I don't know, give you a bit more control, bit more idea when it's actually starting. So that might be good. But then also I forgot that I have to capture that timer, so I can't use my screen in that time. So that's a bit confusing to use. I have maybe to find a better setup for that. Okay, there we go. Whew, all right. Hi, Chef. How you doing? Hi, DV. Thanks for joining. From Smoky, Colorado. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, you have these big fires right now. Wow, very dramatic. I see the pictures. Really crazy with the orange sky. Is it all day round, like 24/7, just orange sky, or is it just at the night? I'm not sure if the smoke maybe blocks out the sun or something like that. Yeah. So who else is here? Hi, Guy. Thanks for joining. Hi, Martin. Thanks for joining. Pretty cool. Favorite day of the week. That's great. Yeah, for me too. I was a little bit ill last week, but then I recovered quickly. So now I'm all fit again. Who else is here? PM Pope. How you doing? Hi, Leo from Holland. Also from Martin from Shetland. Hi, Jamie. Hi, how you doing? Flash from Sevilla. Ah, Charlou, sorry. Again, okay. Hi, Charlou, how are you doing? Stephen from the UK, thanks for joining. Guy from Belgium, thanks for joining. Really cool. Yes, the sun is orange. No, the sky. Is the sky also orange during the day? I don't know. Hi, John from Alberta, Canada. Awesome. I've never been in Canada, by the way. I want to visit. It has, like, they did a lot for the art scene and the creative scene in recent years, I've heard. Hi, David from Glasgow, Scotland. Cool. Nice to see you. Hi, Guy from Belgium. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, perfect. I hope you all have a nice day and a nice week, as much as is possible right now in these crazy times. And yeah, things are going kind of well, hopefully for you. Let me know. Hi, Anderson from Denmark. Thanks for joining. Hi, Mickey from Newcastle. Under Lyme. Okay, interesting. I'm not sure what that means. Thanks for joining. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Good. Volkmar from Bavaria. Thank you for joining too. Also very awesome. Okay, so today, by the way, I did, and this, by the way, I want to ask you this. So I did a poll last time on my YouTube channel, and I asked people because I missed my last live stream if they would rather have a tutorial on that last Saturday or a live stream. And most people said they rather would have a tutorial. So that was interesting. And I'm kind of not sure, like 91% said tutorial, 9% said live stream on my Facebook group. And I think it was very on my YouTube community page. And I think it was very similar also on the Facebook page. Do you actually like the live stream? I'm not sure. I also talked in my channel better and to help me like create topics and stuff like that. We looked at the analytics and so on. And his suggestion was that maybe the live stream is at the wrong time based on where most of my community is. And also that maybe the live stream is too long. So on average, people watch the live, and this is really crazy. The live stream is, now I try to end it around 3 hours. Mostly it's around 3.5 hours long. The average viewing time is 9 minutes. That is not too much. And also I don't manage to get more viewers. That is also something, it's not growing. It's always the same amount of people. And this is like a sign that is not really like adapted well by the community at the moment. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I don't know. Because you would expect like over time to get more viewers on that. So at the but it always stays around between 30 and 70 live viewers, which of course might be based on the time I'm streaming. Maybe I should stream on another time because a lot of my viewers are from the US and Canada. And of course for them it's a bad time. Yeah, but also in Europe, I mean, in Europe, there should be more than 70 people interested in Affinity Photo watching a live stream, but not really. Or photo editing, let's say it like that. So, okay, John has already to go. that's not a good sign. Yeah. So we have to figure that out. Is the stream too long? Is it on a wrong time? Do I do the wrong things in the stream? A lot of questions to figure out. But for today we have a lot of cool stuff to look at, to look through. First of all, the challenge from last week, of course, we're gonna review these pictures today. I asked you to take photos of things that you have in your household, which was suggested also by one of my photo angels. I think Agnes suggested that. Thank you very much for that. And then also I asked you this week to send me your photos. I said I will select some of these pictures, not all of them, and then edit it in the live stream. So that's what I want to do today. Hi, Alberto from Mexico. Thanks for joining. Pretty awesome. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on today. Oh, I wanted to show you another thing that I'm working on right now. You can also give me your peace of mind, what you think about that, because I want to have like a short intro thingy on my videos, not the usual thing where you play music and then wait a second, let me turn off the sound of my computer. Or is it? I think it's off for you anyways. Okay, that's good. 1 second, so I can turn on my sound again. So not the usual thing where you have this kind of intro playing with music and nothing else has happened, because I'm not a fan of that. What I want to do is in the time of my videos where I always say, my name is Olivio, I'm a professional designer, and I want to thank all of my patrons who support me and make these videos possible. In that time, I want to play a little jingle, not a little jingle, a little like intro video. I want to show you, I did this test, the angels liked it a lot. So I want to see if you also like that. Let me play that for you. We have to switch the screen. Richard, thank you very much. Should be paid well by Serif. No. Serif shouldn't pay me. I want to be independent. I want to do my own thing. Yeah, so that's good. But we could do some paid projects once in a while. I'm open to that, like artistic projects. That's okay. We are ready, teacher. Okay, thanks, Alberto. Okay, let me switch the screen real quick. So there it goes. And this is something from a render farm page or something like that, like a stock page. It's a pre-made thing. You just put your pictures in and it's rendering it for you. So it's nothing special, but this would be the intro. And you have to imagine at this moment I say, my name is Olivio and all that stuff. I will change the pictures. And then the good thing is you have this here. So it gives you this like and subscribe. And this is good because I don't have to say it myself. I don't have to say in the video, and maybe you should subscribe. It does it there. I think it even, oh no, wait a second. What is that? I just realized, does it not click on the, oh God, wait a second. We have to go here. This is it. Okay, we have to click on loop here. Wait a second. Does it not click on the bell button? That's bad. Oh, okay. That is not good. How could they miss that? That is really important. Okay. So that's a bit of a downside. They've completely forgot the bell icon. So maybe should I choose something else? But I like this kind of intro where it's very short. You have like 3 pictures I created in my live stream. I want to replace one with something else, or even 2. And then the good thing is you see my logo, even people who are new. And this is also the interesting thing. Sorry that I talk so much about me right now. We want to go to your pictures in a second. What was I going to say? Oh, over half of the people who watch my channel are not subscribers to my channel. So they watch me maybe for the first time, maybe not. I myself watch a lot of YouTube channels where I'm not subscribed to them just because they pop up all the time. I don't feel a need to subscribe to them. But still, if they see me for the first time, they now also know what my logo is, they know what my name is, and they know that I have a web page where you could find maybe additional stuff and such. So there's a lot of information there that I don't have to say in the video. That's good. So that would be the that would be the thing, the idea. By the way, this is the company who makes that. This is their watermark. I didn't buy it yet. This is just a preview, a low resolution preview that you can download for free. Okay, good. Yeah, that's it. That's my thought for the moment. Should sponsor me? Maybe. Yeah. I would rather be sponsored by some hardware companies. That would be cool. By the way, I like Canon, for example. I would like to have a Canon printer. That would be good. Stuff like that. But they don't even talk to YouTubers. They just ignore us. They don't even respond to emails. That's their policy. This is how nice Canon is to social media creators. They don't even respond to emails. I called them and asked, did you get my email? Yes, we got it, but we don't respond to that. Sorry, we don't care. That's wow. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. Let's go to the challenges. By the way, another thing I want to point out here, my angels have been so nice to help me organize these topics here. So now you can click and you have here, for example, the live streams, the tutorials. If you post questions on your own, you can use this tag here to edit. I made even a video in my units, but I can show you real quick. Wait a second. For example, for this one. Sane here posted a question, didn't add a tag to that. So you go here to these 3 points. You only can do that for your own thing. I can do it for everything because I'm an admin, but you can only do it for your own thing. Why is there this time thing right now? Oh, there we go. So you click here. After you have posted your post, you click here. And now it doesn't work, of course. Hi, Marco from Serbia. Thanks for joining. Why does it not load? Maybe let's load this in a new window. Is my internet down right now? Hello? What's going on? Is my stream still up? Hi, Adnan from Abu Dhabi. Thanks for joining. What is going on? Because I didn't have time to watch. I see. Okay, that's also an interesting point. For me too. Oh, Facebook is having problems? That's not good. Wait a second. Let me see if other pages work. Yeah, this works fine. So my internet is good. Facebook is down, probably. Oh, no, there we go. So you click here on Add Post Topic. And then doesn't load again, but there's a list and you can select from the list, so I can't show it to you right now. I hope that the challenge is going to load. Or not. Well, that's bad. I never had that problem. Facebook usually is not down. Maybe we cannot look at that. The good thing is I already downloaded all of your pictures. Should we start with editing the pictures first? Because right now, nothing. Oh. Seems to work. There we go. That's better. Okay. That's not better. Ooh. Okay, that's not good. Well, let's start with editing the photos from this week. Do you tap directly in searching? Really? Was it not posted on Facebook? Because I posted it on all the usual groups and on my own group and Facebook page and stuff like that. So it should have been there. That's strange. I don't think I marked it as an announcement this time. It's this Affinity Photo. We're using not Photoshop. Affinity Photo is in this stream. Hi, Bari from India. Thanks for joining. All right, so let's do the other thing first. So I asked you to send me pictures. A lot of people did. If I find them, there we go. So some of them are like, it's all kind of mediums in here. Like we have JPEG and DNG and NEF and ARW and CR3. A lot of different stuff in here. And I selected some of them to edit them in different programs. So I thought we do some in like we do one in Affinity Photo and we do one in NIK Collection and one in Luminar to look at the different features, maybe. Okay, so let's do that first because maybe Facebook is working afterwards. So let's start Affinity Photo. I still didn't update to the newest version. I'm super slow with that. By the way, there's a new version of 1.9 coming out with apparently major changes, I was told. So that's pretty cool. I have to look into that. So this is the one that I selected to edit in Affinity Photo today. Very nice. Oh, by the way, let me say, this is from Colin. Pretty cool. By the way, I'm not sure. Did you all, like, have you been all that smart to add your names or did Google do that? Because I didn't think about that and it's really cool. Everybody wrote their name at the end of the photo. I think that's maybe this is something that's Google did with the upload process. It's still awesome that that is there. Oh no, there is one without the name. So everybody thought about that. That's amazing. Wow. Okay. Photoshop pattern. How? I don't know. I don't understand that question. How to use a Photoshop pattern? I don't know. I'm not even sure what a Photoshop pattern is, to be honest. My big cup is back, of course. Do I? Wow, I look like my mouth looks like a tomato. I think I have a little bit too much. Wait a second. I have a little bit too much saturation on my camera. I look like a vampire right now. Let's push this down a little bit. Let's go like this. Whoop, pop, pop, pop. That looks a little bit better, maybe. Oh, the thing is coming. The edge is coming back. I have to set up my green screen better and my lighting. It always changes with the daylight situation. Right now it's night, but still. Okay, let's have a look at this picture. So, yeah. Out your hair. No, I forgot to, I wanted to cut my hair. Oh, by the way, I want to ask you another thing. Sorry, today is really all over the place. I'm sorry that this is so crazy right now. Let's go this. I was at the barber to cut my beard. And this time I said to them, please leave it longer. I don't want it too short. And it was a very cheap barber. It was like $10. I think I look like a goat. How is that? I didn't brush it today, so there's a little bit of this here. Wait, okay, this is mirrored. So like here, this is nice with the edge here. And then they cut some stuff down here, so it's not as much, which was a good idea. And then, but from the front, it's like a little bit like a goat. I'm not sure. I thought I wanted to have like long, because I really admire men who have these long, strong beards. I don't have that. Maybe I should color my beard. Yeah. And I have to cut my hair because I look like a kiwi again, like a kiwi fruit. Okay, let's go back to the picture. Sorry that I'm all over the place today. Hi, Christian from Frankfurt. Thanks for joining. Having a bad hair day. Very goatish, but wild goat. Okay, that's good. Well, wild goat kind of sounds cool. I know, but maybe I should keep it shorter with my beard. I'm not sure. All right. Okay, so let's go about this picture. So first of all, the classic trick I often do is to right click here, duplicate. And then I'm setting this to soft light because this will like just give it a nice look. And then we can reduce that a little bit. You can see like you can adjust this by taste. But this already looks a lot nicer than the original. So let's go like this. Okay. Then it looks very blurry. It is very blurry. Okay. Maybe let's sharpen this a little bit to start with. Unsharpen mask, not on this, but on everything. Let's push up the radius a little bit. Let's go with 1 pixel. That should be okay. Let's see. It's a little bit better. Tiny improvement. Let's up the factor here a little bit. Does it do anything? Yes. Okay. Not amazing, but better. Okay, good. So, Alberto, it really depends on what you want to do. Affinity Photo is cheaper, of course, and it can do a lot of things, but Photoshop is more expensive, but can do more things and also has a huge environment that is built into. So you have to decide what you want to do. If you work professionally with other professionals, you probably want to use Photoshop because you want to be able to exchange the files with other professionals, you know? And then you will run into a problem. Your customer comes, says, hey, I have a Photoshop file. Can you edit that for me? And you go into Affinity Photo, which is compatible, but not really. And you can't even open it the right way. That's not going to fly. Your customers gone. They never come back. So that's a bad idea. But if you're a photographer and you're the only one editing the pictures, go with Affinity Photo. It's cheaper. It has everything you need. That's okay. Don't worry about that. It really depends who you work with, what you want to achieve with that. Also, if you have 3D stuff and things like that, you can't do that in Affinity Photo, but you can do in Photoshop. So there's different use cases, you know? So, yeah. But if you're on your own and you only do photo editing or mostly photo editing, then Affinity Photo is really good for that. All right. And what was I going to say? I don't remember. Oh yeah, if you want to buy some other stuff, like if you wait for the sales that are happening on the market, all the time, you can get Affinity Photo and NIK Collection and probably also Photolab and Luminar, all of them together for probably under $200, something like that. So really cheap. So yeah, not a problem. And of course, with Photoshop, you have to pay like over $100 per year. So that's more expensive. Okay, let's go on with the editing here. So the next thing we want to do here is you can see that the background is very bright and that's not good. So we want to have this darker and we want to keep the foreground like that, maybe a little bit of vignette and stuff and like shape this a little bit from the light. So what we want to do here is we can zoom in here a little bit and then we make adjustment and curve. And then you just pull the curve down and look at that area and say, okay, until it feels good. So right about here seems good. That's nice, I would say. Okay, we can keep it like that. Good. So now what you do is, of course, the rest is darker. You could, of course, say, hey, I like it like that. That's a good atmosphere. But what we want to do here is we go with the adjustment selected to layer and then invert like that. And then, so this is like it was before, you just take a brush here and then you go to white and then you can paint that in. Let's give me more opacity, the hardness at 0, that's okay. And then, yeah, we can just like, let's paint this in here. You can see that works really well. And I like to have low opacity because then I can paint over it multiple times to just edit where I want it to add. And not have it like 100% at the first time, you know, so that's easier. And also I'm not using flow because with flow it's often hard to see how much you're adding, while here I know that every time I click I add a new layer, basically a new layer, not layer over here, but layer with painting on that. And so I can have a better control over that. Good. So you can see now we have this here with good light in the background. And you have seen before it looked kind of good for the foreground too. So what we can do here is let's make the brush bigger like that, and then reduce the opacity. And then we can, for example, paint this in here like a little bit of vignette style. Maybe here have a little bit more shadow on the trees, and also down here I paint this on the side. It has a little bit of vignette feeling. We can also like make this complete side here darker a little bit so that the path in the middle stays lighter. And then I want to make my brush smaller again, and here we have these shadows, and we can make the shadows a little bit darker too. So let's go like that. Okay. And this gives us a little bit of contrast between, well, the lit way and then the shadows. Can also make all of this a little bit darker here, like so. And there we go. Maybe here a little bit more. That's already pretty good. Let's give me a little bit more darkening over here and there. That's okay. Good. So we have shaped the light situation a little bit. And then we could basically do two more things. So one is, like I showed in my last tutorial, we can go here to HSL and then use green and pump this up in the orange area a little bit, like so. And then move this over to adjust all the green colors. So they are not that like yellow green, but actual like nice saturated green. It feels better like so. You can see before and after, it changes the green values. And then we can also do a white balance, so we make it a little bit warmer, and maybe also push this a little bit over. There we go. Okay. Oh, we can do another thing. 1 second. Live filter, depth of field a little bit to give it a little bit more feeling. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. Like, oh, not like this. 1 second. Maybe let's go like this. Let's see. Preserve alpha. And then, oh, it's not, it's not doing anything. We have to push this to the top layer. Now it's working. And just blur the foreground and that stuff up here a little bit and have the background sharper. Okay. I think that's, let's see. Yeah, it makes a little bit more, you can see a little bit more blur down here. You could make it even stronger, but you don't have to. And let's do this, duplicate this, put it on top. So this is the original picture, and this is the edited version. So that's okay, I would say. What do you think? You use the gray brush. Yeah, it's gray because it's transparent. Like if you reduce the opacity of black on a white background, of course it looks gray then. All right. Hi, Babacar. Thanks for joining. Hi, JB. Thanks for joining. Awesome. So this is the first one. Do you think, like, would you do anything else? I think that's pretty okay for what it is from the start picture. Nice, quick little edit. And as you can see, we improved the light situation here. And it's kind of nice to play around with light to shape it in that area where you say, I want, as you can see here, I want the path to stand out more, because here the path is like sinking into the sides and not really standing out that much. But if you say, okay, I give more shadow here, I give more shadow here, then the path is simply lighter and you just see it better. And you can do the same with the shadow that shapes a little bit the ground, gives you a little bit more feeling for that. So that's pretty good. Right. What about clarity? We could use clarity. I mean, the problem here is that the picture is kind of blurry anyway, so that's maybe a downside for that. It's maybe a good idea to either use a shorter exposure or have a tripod with you to get it sharper. But you could try some clarity too. I just used some sharpness here on that one. Okay, good. So that's our first little edit. Let me save that, and then I can also send that to the person who sent me the picture. Let's call this Ollie edit. All right, good. So, oh, okay, that takes a little bit to export, apparently. Oh, wait, I should also save them the Affinity Photo file so they can also have that. That's probably a good idea. Ollie edit. All right, good, there we go. So that's the first one. The second one I selected is this one. Where is it? This one with the little, I don't know even what that animal is, but to edit that. This one I actually wanted to edit in Photolab and NIK Collection to look at some of those features, but we could also have a look in Affinity Photo. Oh, by the way, before we do that, we could have a look at this one. This is also one. Oh no. Okay. By the way, as you can see right now, I now also have Photoshop. The reason why I have Photoshop is because I need to know what the competition does. And yeah, so I can see how that works for them and maybe also get some inspiration for tutorials for Affinity Photo, because a lot of tutorials online and a lot of macros and all these kind of things, they work for Photoshop, but not for Affinity Photo. So yeah, that seems like a good thing to have. Let's close this. There we go. Yeah, but this kind of picture. La Fère in France. Is it that? I don't know. Oh, that's a vache bear. Oh, La Fère. Okay, a raccoon. That is a raccoon? No. Really? Maybe. Wait, let me have a look again. Where do we... When I open, does it open? Oh, there. Is it a raccoon? Maybe, yeah. You're probably right. Interesting. I think I hear they are very aggressive. They look very cute, but they are very aggressive, apparently. Okay, this one here, I wanted to edit in Luminar. So we have a little bit of overview. Like I said, I wanted to use also my live streams to open up the channel a little bit, to not just like be super focused on Affinity Photo, but let's look at stuff that you can do in other tools too. That's important. So there we go, Luminar 4. Let's edit this in here, because the reason for that is this is just a picture that like lends itself to edit the background, the sky. So let's add this here, single image. Where is it? So this is that. And just to the idea, like just giving my community the idea, there's other tools. You can use them. It's allowed. And it's often saves a ton of time. So why not think about that, you know? So that's also a good idea to go in these directions. Okay. So what we want to do here, and this is like a really quick edit. You will be amazed. So first of all, we want to enhance this a little bit with this AI enhancement here from Luminar 4. So just push this up. You can see how this already improves the picture. Then we can go with a little bit more structure maybe. And this is the good thing about Luminar. You don't really have to know what to do. You just use these things and it does it for you. That's kind of a nice thing here. So basically that's all we have to do here. And then we can immediately go over here to our creative mode and we can go to sky replacement and we can play around with that. Let's see, dramatic sky. Okay, that's maybe not it. That's a bit too much. Dramatic sky 3. That's actually not too bad. We have a little bit of masking problem in here I'm seeing right now. What's about the... hi, Che. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. Wow. Okay, this one is also nice. Should we go with this one? That's pretty amazing. I don't like the way how it meets the the waterline. The problem here is because it's a fog picture, the waterline is very soft. So we could try to edit that, or, I mean, I really like the sky here. Let's fix this issue here real quick. So that's also a quick fix to do. We go to Edit Mask, Brush, and then you just, you can paint on this. 1 second. Let me not do it wrong here right now. Did this? I think I already did it wrong. How do we undo this? Okay. Oh, there we go. Good. Wait a second. We want to erase. Yes, we want to erase this part here. But now I don't want to see the mask. Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. So let's go opacity 100% real quick to just paint this in here. So it's not affecting this part. And then we're going to paint, and then we go to softness, reduce that. It's basically the same thing you do in Affinity Photo. By the way, what I really like here, look at that. Look at the size of the brush. Now it's this size. I zoom in, and it keeps the size of the brush, and it doesn't change it depending on the zoom, which is nice because I don't have to adapt it. I can just zoom to the size where I actually need it, and it's going to be that size. That's actually a pretty good idea. Something that could be also adapted to Affinity Photo, to be honest. That's a very good way to just zoom in and out to adjust your brush. Was that already? Okay, that's already it. Let's go to erase over here. Erase that. Maybe paint this in again because it's kind of... There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. What are we going to do about this here? Should we try to change that or not? I mean, we could try. Let's, with a soft opacity, softness 100%. And then maybe up the size a little, or let's keep the size at this. And what do? We do erase. If I go like this, what does happen? No, maybe that's not a good idea. Okay, let's keep it like that. Wait, let's maybe undo this real quick. There we go. Okay, let's just keep it like that. Good. So this is the image. And what else do we want to do here? Relight scene, we could use that. You see, like it relights the scene fitting to the sky. By the way, this is still kind of strange here. So there's a little bit more work to be done here. I'm not sure why this shines through here, but maybe this is also... Is this part of the original picture? No. That's kind of strange why this is here, but anyways. Okay, let's keep it like that. We can still change the sky. Look at other skies real... Wow. Okay, that's also pretty impressive here. What else do we have? Not bad. I mean, this actually fits even better, like the atmosphere, because if we have this kind of, in the original picture, overcast. And so now here we also have an overcast. We could keep that. That's pretty awesome. Okay. And the cool thing is you can even add some augmented stuff here, like these birds. Where are the birds? Hello. Oh. Those are too many birds. Is that normal? I can remember that usually it's just a little bit of birds, not like a million birds here. Place object. Those are too many birds. That is better. So we could technically have some birds flying over here. Oh, amount. Oh no, this is just like the blur. Sorry, the transparency. Relight. There we go. Well, we don't need birds. But if you want to have some, there you go. You have some birds now. Maybe let's turn them off. They look a little bit stupid, to be honest. Okay. So as you can see, kind of quick. I goofed around a little bit too much. But other than that, it's a very quick fix with a new sky and a relit scene. And nice details down here and such. So that is very nice. Oh, another thing we can do, by the way, you can have like these LUTs here. You can load your own LUTs, but they also have LUTs in here. And the cool thing is you just go over with your mouse and they show you a preview like this. And that's good because it brings the elements a little bit better together, as you can see, because everything gets the same kind of touch. That's nice. There's a lot of nice ones for this kind of situation in here, to be honest. This also smoky is nice. Manhattan is a little bit cooler. Riverside is more like punchy and colorful. So I think maybe let's go with smoky. It's a little bit depressing, but it kind of fits the situation. Kind of fits the lighting. So as you can see, very nice, very easy. You don't have to have a lot of knowledge. So this is for people who say, I just want to fix the images, but I don't want to think too much about adjustment layers and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, pretty easy, quick fix for pictures with that kind of software. Okay, and now, like Alfred Hitchcock, why was that comment blurred out? Okay, that's interesting. All right. You can move the horizon. Yes, I can. I forgot about that. Horizon blending. There we go. I completely forgot about that. We can try that. No, wait. Is that something else? Oh, no, it does actually blend. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so the fog is now coming up into the sky. And this is like really low. And here the fog from the original picture comes up into the sky. You can see. So we can have a little bit more of that or a little bit less. Interesting. Yeah. And it's like super easy. Okay, cool. So, oh no, there's also the horizon position. Let's bring this a little bit lower here. Let's see what there happens there. No, this is for the sky. This is a different thing. If you want to just like reposition the sky. Okay, so that's basically for this picture. And now let's go over to the raccoon picture and edit that one. So we can close this. Oh no, wait a second. I have to export this. And this, I mean, wait a second. Where do I have to go here? I have to go to downloads and then I have to go to here. All right. And I have to save this in here and it doesn't tell me the original title. Lighthouse. I will call Lighthouse and find it later. Lighthouse. Oh no, it says select folder. Oh, okay. Let's put this in here. Okay. Good. Okay, so we have done that. That takes a bit of time. And then we do now the next picture with Photolab and NIK Collection, if that's okay for you. Very nice so far. Nice cast. Okay, that's good. Always good to hear. Okay, so here we go. Next one is Photolab. Because, like I said, I want to have a look at different kind of software. Photolab. There we go. Photolab 3, that is. Okay. So I upgraded my software a little bit. So I have from Photolab the Elite version. And I also have from NIK Collection the version 3 now. So I can show you like the best of their kind of software they have right now. Yeah, and they had a sale, so I was like, yeah, why not? Let's go for it. All right. So here we have our little raccoon. And one thing I want to show you here. So first of all, Photolab. By the way, this is a JPEG, and this is also important because you cannot only edit raw pictures in here. You can also do this with JPEG pictures. Did we edit any raw pictures today? No, they have all been JPEG. I wanted to edit some raw pictures too, actually. Maybe we can do that in a second. This was a DNG. Okay, okay, let's go in here first. So customize. And this is like the raw editing area or the like basic editing area inside of Photolab, which is very nice to use. And you can also have presets, and presets are often a good starting point. And the good thing is you can also make your own presets here. And when you click up here and apply presets, it loads your picture with all of the previews. So that is very nice to have. And you can just go through them and say, okay, this one is nice, that one is nice, and just try them on, you know? Or like I said, use it as a starting point and then make variations to that and save it as your own preset, which is also nice. By the way, this is also something that I was suggested to maybe try is people said you can also do like preset packs for NIK Collection, for example. That could be something because you can use it with Affinity Photo. Maybe that's something my community would be into, that I create presets for NIK Collection instead of Affinity Photo, because Affinity Photo is kind of limited in the way what you can do with macros and with presets. But with NIK Collection, you can do like amazing, mind-blowing things with the presets. So yeah, that would be a possibility. Okay, let's get started here because before I talk too much. All right, let's go with this night version. It's just like a little bit of an adjustment. And one thing I want to show here, and this is like really already very amazing, is like Luminar has this kind of AI thing, and Photolab has something similar, which is called Smart Light and also Clearview Plus. Clearview Plus is something you have with the Elite version, I think, yes, and not with the normal version, but it can do some amazing stuff. Because you just push this up here, you can see I adjust this, and with just one slider, you can see how this changes the picture and really understands what is going on in the picture and where to adjust the values accordingly. So you can see how this already, like with just one slider, really improved the photo. You can see the before and after. That is pretty amazing. That's one of the best functions, also why I upgraded to, one of the reasons why I upgraded to the Elite version, sorry. Okay, got my mind stuck a little bit. So many free things make a big difference. What are we talking about? I am not sure what this is answering to. So the software is not free, of course. Like there's a free version of NIK Collection. The old version is free, so maybe that's the point. Okay, you can also have exposure compensation here. You can try that, but we don't need that, as you can see. So let's turn that down. I just want to do some basic adjustments and then go over to color effects and Viveza. Sorry, my mind is stuck a little bit today. And you can see you have a lot of other things here. Contrast, color accentuation, noise reduction, all these kind of things. In the Elite version, you also get Prime, but Prime, for some reason, only works with raw images. But this Prime version of the noise reduction is like extremely powerful, also compared to other tools. So it's very nice. I can't show it to you now because this is a JPEG. So what do we want to do here? 1 second. Oh yeah, smart light. I wanted to play around with that a little bit, but maybe we don't have to. You can see if you look at these areas here, and I push this up, it's making these areas like that seem overexposed, like also here in the blossoms, a little bit darker, while keeping the rest the same. And this is why it's called smart light, because it's like reacting to what is going on in the image. So that is already pretty nice to have that. Okay, so these are the basic adjustments we have done so far. Oh, the NIK Collection. Yes, there's a free version. You're right. And now you can also crop here. And the crop is not final. It's just, how can I say, non-destructive. Okay, we can click on this. And I want to have this an aspect ratio of 1:1 and put this little dude a little bit more into the center of the image. So we have a lot of attention on him like this. Okay. And then you just click enter and there you go. And like I said, if you now click here again, you can just go back and like readjust that. The image is not destroyed like that unless you export it or something like that. Good. Okay. Oh, we actually want to go back and maybe move this over a little bit more like so. Maybe don't. Yeah, let's go like that. That's good enough. Okay, good. So we go back to the library. And as you can see down here, we have this big button that says NIK Collection. You can click on that and then it opens up all these kind of possibilities. First, I want to go with Color Effects Pro 4 in this case it is. Which also works can work non-destructive. You have the choice between rendering into the image or keeping all the layers open as it is. Okay, so there we go. And also here you have recipes. In this case, it's not called presets or it's called recipes. And you can also go through them. And you can just click on them. And they will be applied and you can see different styles. And of course, you can also save your own recipes in that case. You can see this for black and white. And there's this kind of thing. And then you can work from that. This will add the needed layers over here. Soft mute, that is also nice. Maybe we won't start with that. And again, you can use that as a starting point. So that is really cool that you have these layers added. I wish we had something like that in Affinity Photo where you can just like click and it adds these layers for you. And then you can just based from that work on with all the other adjustments. We have that a little bit with, what is it? I think... one of the personas has this kind of preset thing, but it's very limited. It doesn't have all these kind of amazing adjustments in there that you have in the normal photo editing. But we can start with that. And you can see now if I compare this to the original, is already a big, big difference. Especially the difference is, let's zoom in here a little bit. If you look at the softness of the fur. Can you see that? So this is the original, looks very like crisp, not very nice. And then this is with these adjustments on there, already kind of nicer, softer, looks better, right? Okay, let's zoom out to the full picture. First is okay. Am I going too fast with the switches between the different software tools? Is that too, like, I don't know, too much, maybe? I just thought it's a good idea if I edit your photos to show you different kind of software tools that you can use with that. So, I just sent you a raw picture. It's kind of too late to now. The deadline is before the stream starts, which just is the reason so I don't have to like now go into my emails and download stuff and things like that. All right. Okay, so we have these 3 things added for us. And now, of course, you can click down here, add filter, and you can add more stuff. And you can make favorites. Like these are all the filters. You can see how many there are in in color effects. Bro, this is just color effects. NIK Collection has a lot of plugins. This is just one of the plugins, so that's also amazing. And by the way, this is another thing I want to point out real quick. Like, I have someone seen talk about in the Affinity Photo group on Facebook. They asked, should I buy NIK Collection or not buy NIK Collection? And then he came to the conclusion to not buy it because he can do it in Affinity Photo by himself, which, yes, technically you can do it by yourself, and you have all these adjustments in there. But the benefit of NIK Collection is that people have created artistic filters for you, not technical filters like in Affinity Photo, where you have to know how to use the adjustments and how to use them in sync with each other so you get a certain result. But here it's an artistic filter where a certain specific effect is prepared for you. And that is the big difference, that you can do it technically in Affinity Photo if you have the experience and the knowledge, but NIK Collection just gives you the result without needing to have all that kind of knowledge and experience. You just click here and say, I want to have this kind of thing. I want to have a dynamic skin softener, or I want to have, I don't know, what kind of thing is here. I want to add fog or foliage or a glamour glow or stuff like that. And the sliders in there are specific just for that effect, and that's nice because this is an artistic approach. So if you have, like, if you say, I want to have like basically a cookbook of artistic recipes that I can just play around with without having to think about what's going on in there specifically, NIK Collection is a nice addition actually to have, because you don't have to have all this kind of knowledge in there. And Affinity Photo can do a lot of that if you know how, and that's the thing. Not so easy to know how. All right, let's go on with the editing. So first of all, I want to add a vignette here. And some things, of course, are also nicer. For example, the vignette, I think, is nicer in NIK Collection because it just looks more natural than the one you find in Affinity Photo. So it has some nice additions too. We can change the size here, make it a little bit bigger. Guy says the CR2 raw file in your collection I sent earlier. Okay. Yeah, I can have a look at that. Like I said, I will select some of the pictures. I'm not going to edit all of them tonight. What else? I have never played with one thing. What is it called again? I don't remember. Sorry. Okay. Okay. What else do we want to do here? So I want to have some opacity, some vignette here. We can also play around with some other stuff. So these are my favorites that I use a lot. We can do some tonal contrast to get some more details into the face. Although we can also do that in, maybe not do that here. That's not a good idea. Brilliance and warmth. We can have a look at that. By the way, if you don't click on add, it will just replace the last filter you have used. So that's an easy way to do that. We have Pro Contrast. Let's have a look at that. If this gives us something more that we want to use here. We could make it a little bit brighter. And by the way, another thing that's important here, you can also rearrange them. So I can click here and just pull this up. And now the Pro Contrast is above the vignette and not below that. So that's also very helpful for that. Okay. I think we can go with that for now. By the way, down here you have the, as you can see, you probably can't read it right now, but it says save and edit later. So this will save the layers, and then I can come back later to edit this. Let's save this for now. And then I want to go into Viveza. So you can see we have, this is the original file, and then it makes a TIFF copy every time you edit it in a different plugin. This is only in Photolab, not in Affinity Photo, which is nice because then you have the different stages saved and it doesn't touch the original file. Okay, so let's go here to Viveza, which is my favorite tool to adjust, like do a fine tuning in the picture. Wait a second, cancel. This is the wrong one, sorry. I selected the wrong starting picture. So we want to go from this, Viveza. Okay, so now that's working. We can make this full screen. There we go. Okay, and in Viveza you can set these adjustment points. So I can go here, for example, and if I hold Alt, you have seen me do this before. Oh, sorry, Alt is the wrong one. If I hold Control, you can see it will give me a selection of what I'm editing. So in this case, what I want to do is to make the fur a bit more red in this case. Sorry. Give it a bit more saturation. And then a bit more warmth. That's nice. And maybe a bit more red and less green and less blue. Like so. Okay. It starts to look a little bit like a fox. But that's okay. I mean, artistic freedom, right? Okay, so now we can just... I hold Alt and click and drag, so this will just pull it over here. Let's make this a little bit smaller here. And then pull it over here to that area. So you can see now we have a beautiful color on our little raccoon. We can go before and after, like this. Okay. And then let's adjust the foliage a little bit and also this stuff and make maybe that stuff a little bit darker. So let's go here and again with Control see what kind of content we're editing. I only want to address the green values here. And this is like really the benefit, like try to do that in Affinity Photo, good luck. So this is what you, like where I think it has like really cases where you save a lot of time and you can just go by your feeling. So I just want to change the green values here a little bit, as we have done with the other picture. Let's put some more contrast in here and some more structure, like so. That's very nice. I don't know why it's not touching this, but we can just move it over there. That's not a problem. I feel like this is not exactly... Let's keep it like that. Wait a second. Yeah. Okay. So let me copy these over here to these areas. Make that a little bit smaller and copy it over here to that area. And then also down here. So you can see I can just like really put it where I want it to be and not anywhere else. So if I say I want to have some of this grass not that kind of color and other grass I want this to be that color, I can do that if I want to. Okay, let's go here to that blossom here and make this more intense. Oh, I made a second point again. Sorry. Bit stupid today. There we go. Give this more saturation and then also more structure. Okay, and then also it's actually good. Maybe warm? Yeah, warm it up a little bit. And then we want to look here on the background, make that a little bit darker here, and then copy this over here and have it affect a bigger area, like so. And I want to actually go back here to his face and give this more structure. Maybe, wait a second, maybe not like that. Let's keep it like this, like it was before. And I make a second point on the white parts. Let me see if these are the white parts. Yes, you see, I'm just addressing the white parts here, and I want to give them more structure and also more contrast. Whoop, not that much, just a little bit. And we can also maybe copy this over to this area down here. Make this a little bit smaller. Okay, so it's a lot of points that we have added, but each of these edits is very simple. As you can see, there's just like a handful of sliders you can use. So that makes it really easy. you can see like how much we influenced the different areas specifically. So that is very nice to be able to do that and really go into the picture and adjust that. By the way, I'm seeing right now the flowers are not to my taste, so let's do that too. Let's make them a little bit brighter. And then also, let's see. No, not that. Maybe just, should we just like reduce the saturation? No. One second. It's actually okay like that. Let's take this and pull it up here. There's other white flowers up here. And there's even one more over here. So you can see like you can get really specific with these things just on these areas. This is what I like about Viveza, that like you say, okay, there's this flower, I want it to be brighter. There's this other flower, I want it to be darker. You can do that, you know. That's very nice. So we have like done a lot of editing in a very short time. And I would say it looks very nice. And we have also created a nice contrast between our little critter here and the foliage around it, in the sense of that green and orange are contrasting colors. So he stands out a bit more. At the same time, looks natural. So that's pretty nice. Whew. All right. Sorry, what does the chat say? I was a bit engulfed in my editing. Let's have a look here. Are these Windows only tools? No, I think you can use NIK Collection also on Mac. I don't think you can use it on iPad though. So that's a limitation. No, it's not the same as changing the color nodes in hue and saturation. Let me talk you through it. So if you want to do this, we have right now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different control points that we're editing. Each of these has a lumina mask, like on the content specifically, as you can see down here, if I move this around, only affecting these areas. And each of these points has brightness, contrast, saturation, structure, shadow adjustment, warmth, red, green, blue, and hue. And these are on its own at least, let me see. So this is an adjustment layer. This is a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 adjustment layers times 14. Let me see. 7 times 14. My math brain is... That would be 98 adjustment layers. Plus mask. You have to also consider masks that you create for that. That you have to create. So let's add plus 14 masks. That would be 112 layers that you have to create inside of Affinity Photo to create the same thing. You can do the same thing. I'm not saying you can't do the same thing, but you need 112 adjustment layers. That is a lot of work. So yeah, and this is just what we did in Viveza, like in the last, I don't know how long I worked on that. So it's not the same thing. It's different. You can do the same thing, but it's more complex. And that's just what I'm saying. This is why I say, hey, maybe look at also different tools. Okay, let's save this real quick and then have a look at the before and after. Wait a second. So we have this. How do I show you the before? We can export this real quick. Export to disk. Oh, you can export to application also now, and Lightroom and Flickr and print. Okay, nice. Let's go and export this to disk as a JPEG to downloads. Yes, let's put this into downloads. Did it already export? I'm not sure. Let's see. Yes, there it is. Okay, cool. Let's copy this over into this other folder we have here. And then we can go into Affinity Photo real quick and open this up. So we have, oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, so let's place this in here. And then you can see we have the before and the after. Let me make this transparent real quick. So this is it, I would say. So this is the before and this is the after with NIK Collection and Photolab, by the way. That is a lot of editing. And by the way, this range, and this is also the amazing thing, this range of change you get out of a JPEG, not a raw picture, a JPEG. That is pretty amazing. Like usually people go nuts if I tell them you don't need a RAW all the time. You can do a lot with the JPEG. They like flip out. But you can see like from an overexposed kind of blurry JPEG picture, you can go to this. That is pretty impressive, right? And it didn't like screw up the picture to make it really crazy bad and like noisy or whatever. It kept the quality. It even improved on the quality. So that's also very nice. To have that. So, and by the way, this what I did in the last step, I forgot to tell you about that, where I put these 2 points here on the white parts and down here on the white parts and added structure and contrast. This is to have an effect that is similar to sharpening, but it is sharpening by contrast, not by sharpening, like the normal sharpening. And it looks very sharp afterwards, even though it isn't sharper at all. It's just like visually. And this is a very nice trick to get a lot more sharpness. As you can see here, that's not that sharp. And then this looks a lot sharper just by how it feels to your eyes, not by actually being that much sharper. So that's a pretty cool effect to have. All right, as you can see, I'm happy with that. I would say that's pretty cool. Maybe a little bit dark. I made the shadows maybe a little bit dark, to be honest, but it's still cool. And the face is like standing out. So yeah, we have a nice focus on our critter. And again, you can see the differentiation. And this is why it's good to have these brown and orange colors next to these darker green colors, because they are contrasting. It stands out, while here it basically flows into the background. It's kind of hard to see him other than this kind of standing out face paint, basically. Not face paint, but, you know, fur pattern. And here it really stands out compared to the very different colored foliage now. All right, there we go. Whew. So yeah, that was 3 edits. What was your picture that you sent me? Oh, that one with the street here. I don't know. I selected these 3. And yeah, I don't know. Is this, where does this open? If we can, let's just do this let's have a look at Photolab 3 and see what we can do with the clarity filter. Let me zoom this out, boom, like that. And then just go in here and just use Clear View Plus. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. That is pretty cool. I'm always amazed how like this is actually adjusting things in here. You see, it's not just like using a curve in another software, because you can see if you look at the tree is hardly changing. The background is changing a lot. Look at these areas here and down here, and at the same time, like, have a look at the tree. By the way, sorry, I can use this side-by-side comparison. That makes a lot more sense. You can see how the tree is basically staying the same. It's giving it a little bit more structure, which is also nice in the shadow area, so it makes it more clear, which basically where the name comes from. But also down here with the details and over here is improving a lot. So that is very nice. And you can use that as a first step and then do some extra steps. Like, for example, we can again go in here to color effects real quick. And this is like I said, if you use different tools that are specialized at different tasks, this is the main thing, specialized at different tasks. they are really good at these tasks. So that's important to see that they will help you with that. So here you don't have to do complicated masking or stuff like that. It will just understand what it needs to do in the photo and then do it for you. And you just have to move one slider. So and this is, by the way, this is kind of the future of where editing goes for photography, that the software knows more about it than we do, because you need years of training to really understand what to do, and it just does it with one slider, and even better than an expert would do with all his knowledge in some years, you know. So that's pretty amazing. So here we can go with this skylight filter, which is very nice and gives you this kind of sunny light. You can see how this brings in the light. And again, in the area where it's needed, you can see like no light and then, oh, sunny day. You see? So all I did for this editing from the original picture to this is 2 sliders. No knowledge, no experience, 2 sliders. That's pretty amazing, I would say. That's pretty nice. This is why I like to have different tools to look at and learn from them, experience with them. You don't have to be stuck with them. That's also important. Don't like just get tied down by that and only use them. But as a starting point, it's pretty cool. Very nice. So I would say, yeah, that's basically it. You can do amazing, crazy stuff here too, if you want to. I don't know what else we could do here right now. Pro contrast is always nice. To get a nice white balance. This is where it's really good for white balance. I think this is okay for the balance. We could adjust this from the horizon. It looks like it's a little bit not straight. Brilliance and warmth, maybe. I mean, it depends on how far you want to take it. Let's compare. I would say that's pretty good. That's very nice. And of course, now you can go, and I'm really a fan of Viveza. You can again go in there with Viveza and adjust different things there to say, okay, I want this area a little bit brighter. I want this area a little bit darker. I want to have, oh, we can do that. Let's do this real quick just to show you what I talked about before. 1 second. So we have to select this one. And then I want to go in here to customize again. Whoa, 1 second. And just there is this tool for the horizon. There we go. You can turn this on and it will like kind of auto adjust it for you. I don't think it did it right now in a good way. Oh, automatic. Okay. Oh no, this is cropping. 1 second. Oh, this is actually straight now, right? So this line, it doesn't, okay. I feel like the ground is a little bit going sideways. Wait, let's go to before and after. Okay, let's keep it like that. Good. So what I wanted to do is to go to Viveza. Where is my picture? It's here. Okay, good. Let's go in here, Viveza. Where's my chat, by the way? Sorry. I'm so like obsessed again with this stuff that I completely forget the chat. Wait a second. Let's pull this full screen. Okay. What does the chat say? 1 second. Let's have a look at that. I love this plugin for years. Yeah, me too. I think it's always the thing where also for myself, I had it, I didn't use it for years, and I tried it to go a little bit into it, and I was like, wow, okay. It's just like you can do crazy things, and it really depends on what you do. Like I would say I use Affinity Photo a lot more because I want to do specific things, and I have these kind of, you know, my creative kind of colorful and violet and pink and all these kind of effects and glow and laser light and analog effects and all these kind of things that I create in Affinity Photo. I like to do that, and for this it's really cool. But if I have something like a macro photo or a nature photo or like a, I don't know, I photograph a building or something like that, NIK Collection is just like really snappy, and you have this kind of, you know what? I like this National Geographic look for buildings and for nature shots, and NIK Collection has that, and that's like really nice. I don't have to think about, how do I get that? I just get it by just using the software, and that's really nice. What else is in the... If I'm right, sharpening tool works with contrast. Does it though? I'm sure I don't think so. It does something else. I learned that. I forgot about that. Someone talked to me about that recently in the chat on Facebook. We talked about unsharpen mask and edge finder. I learned that because before, and this is like, okay, there you can see my age. Before unsharpened mask was an effect, we did something else, which used edge detection. And I think soft light blend mode. Can't remember. I think something like that. Yeah. Which is only raw. Oh yeah, we can try the noise. I'm not sure if I have a noisy picture right now. What tools are best to get What tools are best to get the best out of bad, blurry, and mostly blue underwater pictures? Well, if they are blurry, that's already bad, because sharpening usually is to make sharp pictures even sharper. It's not to save blurry pictures. But the good thing is, like, there is AI software improvingly coming to the market. I think Topaz has a good tool that can make a blurry picture actually sharp. So that's helpful. Ah, yeah, there's one. Rainmaker already says Topaz Sharpen. I've not. I think I've tried it in a demo. I didn't buy it yet. And the blue underwater thing is just that's just white balance and a little bit of adjust. We can look at that in a second. Let's go with this picture real quick though. So what I wanted to show you is again, you just make these control points and you say, okay, this area here is a little bit like I don't want it to be. So I don't know, you can say, what do we want to do here? Maybe make this a little bit darker and then a little bit warmer, maybe not that much. And then, I don't know, you can also have this shadow adjustment, can give it more structure. And the thing I actually wanted to show you is over here now, if you look at these stones here, let's go with these up here. And you just now push up the structure in that area. You can see how this gives it more structure. Let's zoom in here so you can see that better. You see now, if I move this around, this can give this area more structure and it also looks sharper. And this is a trick you can also use, like if you, for example, do prints and stuff, you can get some really sharp, crispy, nice details in these areas to make them really stand out, but not in other areas. Because you don't want, like, you want a building nice and crisp, but you don't want half skin nice and crisp. If there is a model or a person also in the picture, stuff like that, or hair or stuff like, should be like nice and soft and flowy, but then you have other details where you want to apply that. So that's basically the reasoning, to have these kind of areas of adjustment where you just do that and not in other areas. You can, of course, paint a mask in another software. I'm just saying, like, this works like a charm. I just can now also like copy this over down here, and then you can see you have the same effect on the ground, and you have these details here. And you can also say, okay, this area, let me see. Yeah, this area, make it maybe a little bit smaller, and I want this to be brighter. And then over here we have this other area here with the shadow. Let's give me a preview again. Yes. And then I want to have this a little bit darker. So I have a bigger difference between the shadow area and the bright area here. There's stuff like that. You can like really play around for hours with that. It's very, very versatile. Okay, I will not save this. This was just to show you different, like the purpose of the structure thing, and that it can give you like, look like it's more sharpness in there. All right, let me look at if we have a picture. Oh, by the way, another thing that you can do with the Elite version, let's see, does this have a lot of, this has a lot of detail, so I'm not sure we see a lot of noise here. No. So this is not good for noise. This is a JPEG. And also Photolab does some base adjustments. You can see here how this changed from the original picture. Already did some adjustments on its own, but we don't have so much noise here either. This is a JPEG again. What is this? This is a JPEG. This is a JPEG. This is a JPEG. So we don't really have a noisy raw file right now. NAV file. By the way, I looked at this at the start. You might want to have a look at your camera if something is broken maybe, or maybe this is just like a light effect, but these corners here and here, they are brighter for some reason. That looks like a fault in the camera, maybe. I'm not sure. You see this area completely bright, and also this area. It's just the corners. And this is strange because it's just here in that area. That's kind of strange. Yeah, we don't really have a noisy... Oh, I could use maybe one of my own pictures. If I find them. Boop. Let's go over here. And then we have photos. And then we have... what do we have here? Oh, okay. All these kind of pictures. Yeah, we can try this one here. With a crazy perspective. Where's the lens correction? Which also it does pretty good normally. Distortion. Oh, it already applied the distortion. So this is now, it became straight. Let's pull this up here. It's also not that noisy because I went with a tripod, so you don't really see much noise here. This is like you see this chromatic aberration here, but this is because it's a fisheye, and so these areas already have been like extremely bent. Maybe down here. No. Sorry, I don't have a good example for that right now. And this is, by the way, this is the edit. This is what I was talking about. So you have, I think this is the original picture maybe. Wait, let's zoom out here. So this is the original picture with that kind of thing, fisheye photo. I underexposed it a lot and it was also dark. And then I did some base adjustments here. And then I did these other adjustments. And now I have to... Where's my library view now? What? What is going on right now? Why does it only show one picture right now? I'm confused. Oh, sorry. I pulled this away. Sorry. So this is the final picture. And this is kind of what I mean with this kind of National Geographic look. You see, like so. But I mean, in my mind, it's a National Geographic look. It's like National Geographic photographers, of course, are better photographers than I am. Not saying this is the quality photograph-wise, but from the colors, from the taste of the colors, this is what I'm talking about. That is this kind of look, you know. Every software has like different looks, different styles. I feel like this is this kind of style that I really like. This kind of feeling of it's natural, but it's a little bit epic at the same time. You know what I mean? It has a little bit of this kind of hero feel in it, you know, like this adventure kind of feeling. So that's nice. What did we want to talk about? Oh, yeah, the noise. I don't have a picture to show you that. Let's go do the review of the pictures on Facebook. Let's see if Facebook works again. Someone asked to join. Oh, okay. No, go away. Okay, there we go. Let's see if this works again. Most creative everyday object. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this works again. Right. Okay, so should we do that now? How did you get the red and blue in one picture? What? What do you mean by that? Don't worry, I will try when I get a software. How did you get the red and blue in one picture, Sky? What? You mean that here? No, it's just a sunset. And of course, like I said, if you have like with Viveza, you can say, okay, this area, like the blue area, I want it to be more blue and more extreme, and this area I want it to be more colorful and have more contrast, and this other one less contrast. And also in these areas here in between, like this area, you can just like define this area in here and say, I want to have like a nicer orange and more sunset feeling, and then copy this to these different openings here in that area, so you get that. And then back here, for example, you have this part, and there was like a black sign, a red sign also over here. I reduced that in brightness so you don't see that too much. So everything you should see is bright and everything you shouldn't see is dark. And that's like you can really adjust that in a very nice way and get these kind of specific, natural, good-looking colors, which is something I really like about that. All right. Okay. Let's do now the review. What is the time, by the way, that we have for the stream? 1 hour 30. Okay, wow, that's a pretty good timing. By the way, let me know in the chat if you, yes, Viveza. I adjusted most of that with Viveza. And then, so I basically went the same route. This is why there is so many copies here. I went with the basic adjustments in Photolab. And then I did some adjustments in NIK Collection, which I think is this one. And then I did some more adjustments in Viveza to get the different brightness values. So you can see, for example, here, if you compare these two pictures, let's me show you that. So if you look at this picture here, you have the colors in the sky already there, mostly, but the brightness here isn't there because if you adjust it, I mean, you can set different color points in color effects too. You can set different effect points, but it's not like made for this kind of adjustment like Viveza is for adjusting the brightness and structure and these kind of things in the same way. This is why it's an extra plugin. So I adjusted the sky first, and then I went into Viveza to adjust the light areas. And here, by the way, you can also see, if you look over here, there is this brighter area with this kind of sign here, and then you have these kind of sky areas that are looking through. So I also painted these out. So if you go here, you see they are gone, and the shield is dark. I think I even painted the shield out completely. Yes, it's gone. And the temple in the foreground is nice and bright now and has more structure. So the brighter areas are brighter, the darker areas are darker. And also the brighter areas are warmer and the darker areas are cooler to get this kind of contrast in there too. So it's not just contrast, it's also a little bit more stuff happening there. All right, good. And you can see also there's a little bit of adjustment in the sky colors and stuff like that. So yeah. Some stuff going on. All right, let's go to our challenge from week 37, which is not this week but last week, where I couldn't do the live stream, and the task was, is the NIK Collection a must? I'm probably going to have invest in NIK Collection. It is not a must, but it's very good. So I really would invest into that. I mean, if you like that kind of look of the colors and everything, and it has this kind of more analog look in a lot of these effects, it's a good investment, I would say. And if you look at over there, I think they have a sale right now. So let me see. Is the sale still going on? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's still going on. So it's $100. I think that's okay. I think really that's okay. If you like, a smartphone costs $1,000 and this is 100, and this is like, you can play Flyy Birds or whatever the games are called. I don't know. Jumpy Bird. What is that name? What is that game? I think it's already some years old, but yeah. Oh, and by the way, they do this and you think, oh, an extra 30%, but that doesn't work for some reason. So that's kind of strange. Yeah. All right. I think it's good For that amount of money, you get a lot of bang for your pictures. And by the way, I'm not affiliated. I'm not making any money from this. I just like their software, you know. I just want to give you knowledge about photo editing. That's my thing. I'm not earning anything from this. And I did buy the software myself. They didn't give it to me for free. Okay, so let's look at this. These entries of take the most creative photo of an everyday object. That was the task. So Angry Birds. Angry Birds. Yes, right. Okay. I played that a little bit, but that was like, is that 10 years ago? When did Angry Birds come out first? Release date. 2016? No. Oh, that's the movie. Okay. Franchise. When did it first come out? The video game. 2009. So it's even more than 10 years ago. The Rio version was pretty nice. I didn't play the other ones. Too much stuff. All right. Although they I am lying right now. They have an Android game where you shoot around these kind of, not the birds but the balls, and you have to like pop balloons, I think. That is pretty fun. It's completely different from Angry Birds, but it has the Angry Birds title. Okay, so let's go and have a look at these. By the way, Agnes made another post in the group that I liked a lot more, but she decided on this picture afterwards, which is still a cool picture. And from this kind of grater, then the free NIK Collection, yes, you can still do that. It's not as stable and it's more complex to install that. And it doesn't have all the features, but you can still use that. It has like, let's say 95% of the features. So you get still a lot with the old version. Yeah. Okay. So it's nice. And also with the reflection and with the structure and with the angle, there's a lot of things in there that makes it interesting, and also kind of this industrial look. I think this would have been great as a black and white picture to get this kind of industrial structure even more into the picture, and maybe a more extreme camera angle to really highlight this kind of repeating pattern on the grater. But it's a good picture. Let me see if we maybe find the other picture, because I really want to show you. I really like that other picture. Let's see, Agnes. There we go, this one. I like this one because it has a great composition. It's black and white. It goes more with the patterns than the content, but at the same time you see what it is about. And it has a lot of very interesting details and a very nice balancing of the different elements in there. And also it has this kind of square format you can use good with Instagram, stuff like that. I like that. And it's not just, I don't think it's complete black and white. I think it has this kind of silvery blue touch a little bit. You see here and there. I don't think this is completely just gray. It has a little bit of color. So I really like that. Very nice picture. I like that more than the other one. But the other one is interesting too, you know? So that's nice. The composition is not as well balanced as in the other picture. And I think this is just like an overview of the props here. So that's also nice. By the way, you could have gone here also with a nice depth of field. If you either like do it afterwards in Affinity Photo, we can just do that real quick. Let's have a look at that. Let's go here from the clipboard, and then we could go just with depth of field, make that linear in this case, and maybe follow the structure of the picture. Let's see, preserve alpha, like so. Like I said, it would be better if now for this effect it had more of a stronger angle on it. It's too flat for this effect to actually make sense. But just like to give a little bit of an idea. And then maybe also make it black and white. Let's see. Let's put this on top here. There we go. Play around with that a little bit. We can make this area darker. Oh, and then you get some fragmentation. And this, by the way, this is what often happens. You can see now, if you look here, there's already some pixel fragmentation. And that's a big problem. You see also here. And like, it's probably in the original picture, but now it stands out really harshly. You see, that's, yeah, it is in the original picture. You can't see it, but it's there. Like if you look here, I'm not sure if you can see that in the stream, but there's these big fragments here that come from, of course, Facebook. The original picture probably doesn't have that. But if you edit that like that, you quickly reach that kind of limit. And I kind of think if you do the same thing in NIK Collection, you don't reach that limit that quickly. We can try that. Let's give that a try real quick. Sorry that I'm jumping all over the place again today. But that's kind of why we have a stream, right? So let's save this in here real quick. And then we go in here and try to find that picture. Downloads. It should be in here. Yes, there it is. Okay. And then let's go to color effects real quick, which, by the way, makes a TIFF copy of that. So now this is a TIFF version, and this is also why you can do more extreme editing with that. And we can now go for black and white conversion. Let's see. I can see I do a similar kind of thing. First of all, very quick, and you get like, there's all this kind of contrast, like you get, yeah, it's just like, this is what I mean, the difference between a technical adjustment and artistic adjustment. Here you have these kind of adjustments made in a way and work in a way that give you this kind of artistic result, while in Affinity Photo, they are made to be technically correct, which is better if you want to have full control, but worse if you want to have a certain result but don't know how to get there. This is the big problem here. And yeah, and also you need more layers, because here you can see like this is having the color filter, the strength, brightness, and contrast, everything together, because they know from their experience these things work well together, while you would have to know that on your own in Affinity Photo. But you can also do that. You can just go in here and say now, okay, also brightness and contrast, and then you can get the same effect. But would you have known that when you use contrast, you get this kind of black and white clarity in here? You see, this looks muddy and kind of not so good, and this looks sharp and crisp. This is something you get from experience, or if you use NIK Collection where this is just built in, because they know, okay, this is a good combination to have black and white and then also contrast and brightness to get that. And the thing is, if you like, if you zoom in here now, can we go more than 100%? Sorry, I'm kind of, oh, there we go. You see that there's not that much fragmentation in here. So that's pretty nice too. This is like, for some reason, NIK Collection really has the ability to not make this really, really fragmented in a very short time. So you can really do pretty intense editing without the picture breaking down and just falling apart. And here it's a little bit quicker. And you have to have like more knowledge on what to do here, or maybe change around the document settings here for... Let's convert this to 16 format, RGB 16, and see, does this do anything? No, not really. Okay, interesting. I can see here like really strong fragments, and then we go over here, it's not so much fragments here. Oh, of course, this is like not as bright. We can make, let's push this brighter here, and then also push more contrast, and then maybe we get, but still it's not as fragmented. So that's really interesting to also see that kind of aspect. From the software. But they still have both, of course, their strengths and weaknesses, of course. Yeah. Does it work with Affinity Photo? Yes, absolutely. I'm not sure, have I Yes, you can see here I've turned it on, and it's everything is in here. I can use it the same. Of course, now it's grayed out because I'm on adjustment layer. That's the only reason. I would have to go here to image layer and then go to filters, and I can do the same thing in here. It's still grayed out for some reason. Oh yeah, because it's an image layer. So another thing, I have to rasterize this right now. Let's do this real quick. Rasterize, and now it's a pixel layer. Now I can edit. So let's go again here. And now you can see I can open this up. But the thing here that you have to realize or to remember is, first of all, it's not going to do a TIFF version of that. It's just using the JPEG and then applying the effects to that. So it's a little bit different. And also, this is going to be rendered into that layer and makes a copy of that layer. So you can't go back on that. I think you can't. Let's check this out real quick. Let's go here and open this up in color effects. And by the way, this will take the layer. This will not take everything you've edited so far. This will take the layer you selected. That's also important. So the other adjustments are not there. So if you want to have the other adjustments there, you would basically have to make a copy of that as a merged layer. Oh, okay. So you see down here, there is no option to save this and keep the editing intact. So that this doesn't work. This only works on the standalone version and the like Photolab version, but not in Affinity Photo. As far as I can see, maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. But there's a little bit of a workaround because you can save the edit you did as a recipe, and then you can just delete the layer and load the recipe and then adjust the recipe. So this is a little bit of a workaround, but at some point you will have hundreds of recipes, so you want to delete some of them afterwards. All right. Okay, so you can easily use that in Affinity Photo too. Okay, this is just like a suggestion with the black and white thing here. Do I go too fast today? I feel like I'm really flying through the things, but there's like just so much interesting things to talk about. Okay, so thank you, Agnes, for this picture, or the two pictures, basically. Here we have one from Carol, which, wow, okay. What is going on here? A tiny apple picked yesterday. I'm not sure what exactly is going on, to be honest. So you wanted to photograph the apple, but then the thing is, like, there is a lot of like attention on this unicorn with the fairy on top, I guess that is, in the background. So that takes more attention than the apple. I would look at the fairy first and think, wow, that's a very blurry picture. And then I would look at the apple and yeah, the apple is like in focus, but it's kind of strange. And also then there is all this kind of dark area around that for no apparent reason. I think you wanted to create a story here where this fairy on the unicorn is riding. Is it a unicorn or just a horse? I'm not sure. Is riding towards the apple in search of maybe the apple from, maybe this is some kind of paradise theme going on here. But you don't really get that kind of impression. I would rather like put the apple maybe a little bit more over here, maybe make it bigger if it's like the main attention thing, or have the apple blurred and then have the fairy more in focus and riding towards the apple, if you know what I mean. So a little bit of different composition. About the contrast. Oh yeah, okay, thank you. John says, what? I tested Facebook, I uploaded a 6 megabyte photo, then downloaded it. When it was uploaded, it came back. Yeah. Facebook is compressing your files a lot. It's not good for storage of pictures. Don't use Facebook as a backup or something. They really compress the files a lot. Because, of course, everybody is uploading like millions of pictures to Facebook, so they have to save a little bit on that. So I understand the idea, but the composition is not as good. And a good way to go about this is to go just to Pinterest, as I often suggest. Pinterest, and to look for pictures like that. Is this how you write fairy? Fairy apple? You're probably not going to find the same thing you're looking for. And also go for paintings. I would go for paintings because paintings are completely structured in their composition other than photographs, because photographs, of course, have most of the time to work with what's there and what's realistically possible in a picture, while a drawing can just go crazy and nuts with all the composition and lighting and everything in there. And so you will, like, painters have a much better understanding of composition and all these kind of how elements work together, so you can learn a lot more from a drawing or a painting. And also an additional part of that is that, of course, a painting and a drawing has less elements in there, and they are reduced in the complexity, so you can focus easier on the important parts, if you know what I mean. For example, if you look at this picture here, the bubble is very detailed and the fairy is very detailed, but the background here is not very detailed. And in the photo, the background would also be very detailed because the camera doesn't care what it's photographing. And then you don't know, like, it's harder to distinct afterwards what is the important part, what is the artist single out and for what reason. And in a drawing and a painting, you can really understand and follow the thought of the artist a lot easier. So this is why I would suggest to learn from drawings and adapt that to photographs afterwards. Do I use a Wacom tablet? I have one, but I now have a Huion a tablet for painting on the screen if I do drawings, not for photo editing. For photo editing, I have a very small tablet without a screen because you don't need any more. Like, photo at retouching is very basic in the movements you do with your hand compared to drawing. This doesn't give like too many good examples here right now, but I mean, there is some examples here that we can look at. For example, like, let's take this one and let's take this one and this one, because we have there an element, like in this case, the frog, and then we have the fairy sitting here on the leaf. And they are not competing with each other, and there is not kind of a big question on why is, like, where is the attention going or not, you know? Maybe here they compete a little bit because it's not right clear what they are doing. Let's go to this other picture here. Here you have a very nice connection between the blossom and the fairy, and she's looking into the blossom or smelling it or something like that. And the angle the blossom is going and the angle the hat is going, they are going towards each other, so they are pointing in the right direction. The energy in the picture is flowing in the right direction, which is also, it's an important idea or concept. It's not esoteric or something, it's an actual concept. Where are the energies flowing into the picture? Are flowing them together or apart? And this is defining if some things are attracting each other or pushing each other away. And this should be part of the composition of the picture, of course. And in this case, you can see how the blossom is open and it's pointing towards it, like it's actually kind of leaning toward the fairy, and the fairy is kind of leaning towards it. She's actually leaning with her hands on the blossom too. So there's actual contact also happening. So they are really like pulled towards each other in that kind of composition. So that's nice. To have all this kind of story in it, and also the dynamics in the picture. And this is like, you can see this a lot easier in a drawing than in a photograph. And here we have another thing where you have an element and he's touching it, so there's kind of a connection. He's not looking at it, but you know there is a connection between is it a fruit? The nut? The nut and him, you know, he even has one of the nut parts as his head. So also nice relation to that. And here it's a little bit like, you can see, for example, if you look at where is the horse looking and where is the fairy looking, the fairy is looking at us, kind of, but the head is like, even if the eyes would go like this, the view line would probably go over here, and the horse's view line kind of goes down here. So none of those look at the apple, and the energy where this is going, like the forward motion of those two, is also not going. Like if they would keep going, they would go right past the apple, basically. So it's kind of, yeah, not so ideal, I would say. So maybe put this over here a little bit and either make it bigger, or I would actually make her in focus and then have the apple in the foreground. And if you put this apple over here, you can basically take two pictures with different focus and then like stack the focus, so both of them would be in focus. That's also a possibility. Or I feel like I talked way too much about this one picture. Let's go on to other pictures. I hope this was still interesting. Here's one from Marco. Very nice again. Acorn. Yes, Acorn. You use X Pen. It's probably also good. I don't know. There's a lot of different companies out there. Yeah. So that's a nice detail again. Also nice with the sharpness, with the blur, that it's kind of vanishing into the background. I'm not a huge fan of this big pink blob in the foreground because it takes a lot of attention for no apparent reason. So if you would have taken the other side of the brush, maybe that would have been better, to just have this kind of abstract structure in there. Yeah, but it looks pretty interesting. So that's kind of, as I say, like doing these experiments will teach you a lot about photography and taking different interesting angles and working with the subject that you want to photograph to work out interesting artistic points of views. And over time, with the experience, you will see that these pictures become more alive and become like their own works. And this is kind of the way where you want to go. And this is an interesting thing about photography. You have a lot of photographers who are technically good, but at the same time are not good photographers. They make technically really nice pictures, but they just are not alive. It's just a picture at the same time. It doesn't look that good. And then you have people who also bring them alive, these pictures. They become their own works, their own kind of story, their own kind of feeling in the picture. You know what I mean? And that is the goal, to go there, to overcome the machine and the software and create a picture that's actually kind of alive and feels like its own thing. And that's really good. If you come to that point, that is actual, like I would call that actual photography, not just a technical thing, like, I don't know. Yeah, just the other pictures, you know, like pictures that just document something, you know. You can be a super awesome photographer and not have pictures that are alive. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's nice. Marco says, it is the handle. I was thinking to crop it out. Yeah, I know. So this is the handle, but it takes a lot of attention. You could also maybe desaturate it, you know, so this is not as visible there. So if you go like, let's copy this over to Affinity Photo real quick. And then just make an HSL adjustment and then reduce the saturation. And then you go to layer invert. So this is black from the mask. And now you can simply go with your brush, set the brush to white and make it smaller. Let's make this 100%. And then you can simply brush on this. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Like so. And you can see I can now go like this. And now it's not as apparent in the image. It's still there, but it's not as like intrusive. Or you can give it a color, maybe a little bit of blue from over here, stuff like that. Also a possibility, you know, so that's possible. Like you can, let's give this a little bit of saturation and then move this over maybe. It doesn't work like that, but I'm just doing it like real quick now to give it more like a blue hue. You can see like it doesn't look good, but let's not do this because it gives you the wrong idea. You can just paint over this and recolor this area a little bit if you want to, but you can see how now the attention is away from that and more focused on the part in the back. So that's kind of good. Oh, by the way, we were talking about something. Someone asked me that, I'm not sure where, about these unicolor pictures, and you can go like this. It doesn't really work 100%, but you can go like this and then just set this to color or hue. Like hue is good in this case. And you can see now everything in the picture is blue, even the handle here. And you can set it also to other colors. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer, sorry. Let's go to fill here. You can see like this, or you can go like with pink or stuff. And it doesn't work 100%, like I said, because the problem is that the hue is only the hue and not the brightness of the area. And so if you have these areas here where it is a different brightness, it can be that it will keep the color or parts of the color, it will not change, adapt the color there, and it looks strange, it doesn't look right. So this doesn't always work, but sometimes it works. Like in this case, you can just like make everything like the blue from the background. You can even color pick this. You hide this layer and you go here and just color pick this area here. And now this is also the fill color. And if we turn it on, you see now everything has this kind of blue color. So this is also a possibility. You can go like that. All right. Let's go on. Or another angle. Yeah, you can also play with other angles. That's true. Okay, thank you. Let's go on here. Royce has done a picture. Oh, by the way, I also said no editing. I think I said you can do some basic edits. No editing other than basic adjustments like color and contrast. This is just so people don't do any kind of crazy compositions or such. So you could have done more adjustments here for this, like contrast and stuff like that. But it's still pretty cool. So this is a good example where you can do a lot with the right adjustments of the picture. Like the composition is interesting from just getting this detail. And sometimes you don't need this kind of focus stacking. It's also interesting to like just have a little part of that sharp and not the rest. You can still try with focus stacking. Maybe you get some, it looks often really impressive if you have these kind of bending structures, and when you have a macro photo, they become these kind of architectural elements, basically like sculptures that can be really amazing. Again, if you go here, let's copy this over real quick. This is a prime example of using this with Silver Versa, which is also, again, part of the NIK Collection. Sorry, there's a lot of NIK Collection today, but it just has some good tools. And here it has a good tool. So if you go to filter, wait, this is image. We have to rasterize this. And here, this is another like difference I want to point out here, by the way, why I show this. Is if we go to Silver Versa, which is Silver Versa is the old name. This is now called Silver Effects Pro. If you go to this, you can do these adjustments with Affinity Photo on its own, but this just does a lot of things that are not that easy to do on your own. So again, you have first of all you have all these kind of, is it called? In this case, it's again called presets. So they are a little bit all over the place with the naming of the stuff. And you get some ideas here, like this, or like this high contrast thing here. You can go through them, get some different ideas. And this is kind of an important thing to understand, that photography, especially black and white photography, can be a lot of different things. It's not just making it black and white and adding a little bit of contrast. There's a lot more to it. And interestingly enough, Silver Effects is especially created for that. And it gives you some very good ideas. You can see how big the difference is between, where was this? This high contrast here gives you a nice, sharp, contrasty, like foreground here, but the background also is very bright. And then if you compare it to, where was this I had before? I think it was this one maybe. And this has this kind of nice contrast in the foreground and also kind of sharpness here, but the background is darker, and overall the picture is a lot softer. And this really is, in black and white, the interesting thing is the main element is the structures and how they feel in the picture, and you're not how do you say, sorry, I have to look for the word. 1 second. Doop, 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 doop. You're not distracted by the colors and all the other things and the textures and stuff like that. The picture is very much reduced to the structures that you have in here and how soft or hard they feel or what is paid attention to. And this is like a really big thing. Like if you compare these two, they become completely different things, especially if you photograph abstract things or if you create, because even if you photograph a face or a dog or a plant or a building or everything in black and white becomes kind of a sculpture. You know what I mean? Like if you work with clay or with, again, I'm missing the word, marble. So yeah, if we work with marble or with clay or something like that, so it is a very different approach. And the good thing is about Silver Efex Pro, it gives you a lot of ideas on these different styles. If you know black and white photography and famous black and white photographer, you will see that these styles are also adapting or like paying homage to different kind of styles and different kind of photographers. So which is also nice. You can basically jump through art history a little bit with the presets. You can see like this is more this kind of old-timey thing. And down here we have even more old-timey styles, even with these borders also in there. And this is the interesting thing. You can see how many characters, how many stories, how many lives the same photo can have. And that's the kind of thing I mean. You can do it if you know how, but do you have all this kind of knowledge? That's the big thing. And that's like, for me, this is like a library of art styles that I can just pick from. Sorry, not pick on. the art library bully is around. No, to pick from and then adapt it to what I want. So it's a really nice starting point. I sound like a commercial. I'm sorry. It's not a commercial. I'm just like, I like these filters and what they can do for you. And you see all these different kind of styles and what they, what kind of expression they bring to the picture. Yeah, and this picture, like stuff like that, is really lending itself to be created in black and white. And think about this kind of sculpture, architecture, kind of element of abstraction in the photo. That sounded really strange, but you know what I mean. Okay, let's go on to the next picture. Whew, wow. What time do we have? 2 hours? Okay, let's finish the pictures. Oh, okay. Nice. It's a bit blurry and very dusty. The globe is very dusty, but it's okay. Interesting. The interesting thing, like this is a very nice, but at the same time classic composition. I like that. It's very interesting. This is something you would maybe find in a magazine or something. And also from the, I think the colors also make it a little bit more classic. This kind of cognac color light. Very nice. Yeah. Pretty cool. I'm not sure if it's blurry because it's on Facebook. Maybe I think it could be that you added like a noise effect, like a old school, how do you say? What is it called? Like the noise that you have from analog film, that you simulated that and this, and then didn't like the compression in Facebook didn't like that and made it look like it's blurry. But it's actually not. So that could have happened because the noise here looks like kind of specific, more like a compression error than an actual noise in the picture. Or it's just like blurry, that could also be. But it's nice. Nice colors, nice composition. Very cool. Also with the shadow, brings a lot of character to the image and makes this stand out. So yeah, and brings also drama into it. You can see like this is a good example of how you can use light to create drama. And also often you can use one light you don't have to use many lights. Sometimes one light is good enough to create this kind of drama and story, and also highlights the structure of the elements in a picture. Also good with a face, by the way. If you photograph someone and you either have a flash or you have one of these reflective discs, or you have just like a piece of cloth or a little bit of aluminium foil to create a reflection from one side. So you create one side as brighter, the other one darker. You create a lot more shape in the face. You see a lot more like how can I say, the structure of the surface basically, and this is really helpful often. Yeah. John says you ought to set up a Dropbox for these photos, then you wouldn't get Facebook compression. That's actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I could do that. This time I did, like, not for this one. Usually you ask people to post it on Facebook because it's not that much about the quality of the picture. It's more about what I can see in the grander scheme of the photo. I did it last time with Google Drive. The reason is why I do with Google Drive is because you have to go through some questions before, like the name, the email address. You have to give me the usage rights for the pictures. You can actually use them, stuff like that, which is clearer on Facebook in the group if you post it. But it's not as clear if you just have a Dropbox where everybody can just like post things, you know. There you have to get like a special like agreement to use that. All right, here's the next one. So thank you. Sorry, I know you have been a lot of times in my stream and still I can't pronounce your name. Arichit. There we go. Okay, next one. Oh, there's two, and then before the crop and after the crop. Yes, I could edit them better. That's true. Yeah. So, but one more thing. This is the big difference. You can see with this, I'm not showing you right now, but with the other challenge where I asked people to send it to me through a Google document, there is no comments, no posts. There's like a little bit of comments there, but not much interaction with that post on Facebook, while here everybody's posting and everybody else in the group can see the post, and this makes it very interactive with the community. They can inspire each other and learn from each other. So this is like a huge benefit that makes it better than just me collecting the files. And this is also why I have a Facebook group compared to like doing it another way. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next one. That's really interesting. I'm not sure what is going on here with these light stripes. What is that? They look like nylon strings, but it's not. This is like light. And let's look at the original picture. Okay. The bedroom light is morning. It wasn't sure if I were allowed to crop. Yeah, you can crop, of course. Before. I mean, I really like that you cropped out these elements here and that you got closer to that part that's more important, and also got rid of this because that's distracting. So the crop improved the composition a lot. One thing I maybe would have changed is to work a little bit on the perspective to set this part here more straight, if that's technically possible for this picture. And it feels like it's leaning to the right. I'm not sure if I'm right about that or not. Let's have a look here in Affinity Photo real quick. So that's actually straight. And this is, yeah, kind of straight, leaning a little bit to the side. But the lines are more straight than I expected. Of course, these lines here are not straight, so that didn't work. Ah, by the way, we can try something else here. 1 second. I've not tried that yet. Oh, my cat is coming. Okay, Belusa, don't. Belusa, jetzt haben wir momentan keine Zeit für dich, Schatzi. Nein, nein, nicht mein Wasser trinken. He wants to drink from my water. I allowed him recently. He could drink my water, and I couldn't drink it afterwards, of course. Wait, 1 second. Belusa, komm. Sag hallo. Ah, Mau. Ja, Mau. Baby. Oh, baby. Oh. He doesn't have fur here. Belusi, wir haben keine Zeit jetzt für dich. Später. Komm. Okay, good. Okay, so this was Pelusa, really big cat. There we go. Okay, let me really quickly copy over this picture from Facebook in here. And then what I want to do here, rasterize. And here is a new filter that I've never tried from NIK Collection, which is to correct. Oh, this is not in here. Ah, this is not part of the plugins here. That's interesting. Either it's not working or it's not meant to be. Okay, then I will save that picture down to my drive. 1 second. Let's go here and then go here. And it should pop up here in a second. There it is. Okay, good. So let's go with this one, perspective effects. It's what it's called. I have no idea how to use it. Oh, it says auto? Needs to open the original image file. Oh. File does not contain... Oh. Okay, so this doesn't work. Volume deformation. Oh, okay. So that did something. Not too bad, maybe. You can see now the door. This part is straight, and this is straight, and I think these lines are still straight. I could probably also like, force, horizontal, parallel. But this is not too bad, actually. Interesting. I mean, it does strange things with this stuff over here, but over here it worked. I have not worked with this before. Let's do an auto crop here. Oh, okay. I see, okay. Miniature effect, you can do that too. Okay, interesting. Up and down, left and right. Intensity, you can adjust the intensity so it's less intense. Oh, that's actually pretty nice. Okay. How do I apply this? Save as? Oh, okay. 8-bit? Yes. Is it? Oh, it's done. Really? That quick? Okay, good. Now let's go over here and place this in here. Ooh. What? Oh. I think I applied some kind of effect here. I applied this kind of miniature effect. Sorry. Let's do this again. 1 second. But it's not that amazing for this picture. You can do the same thing with Affinity Photo. So that wasn't like crazy good. Let's click here on auto. And then not do the... Is it doing it right now? No. Okay, so let's export this. I think this time it worked. So let's place this in here. Yes. Let's see if this looks better or worse. Let's make this transparent real quick. And then we want to try to match the original. Oh, it's cropped so hard that we can't actually match this. So we have to do a little bit of a different adjustment here. Let's go like this. Maybe like so. This is kind of similar. Interesting. This is very, very close to the door now. It looks very strange. Maybe, let's see. Maybe like this. What do you think? Do you think it's better when the door is straight or when the door has this angle here? I feel like this is also a picture that would work really well with black and white. Let's merge visible and then go here to our Silver Effects Pro. Straight is better. Okay. And this is also a good thing, a good picture. I can see the different effects of black and white pictures. Wow, this is very dark here. What else do we have here? This is bright. Bright. Wow, very vintage. There's none of them. No, this is not good. Kind of interesting. Contrast. By the way, here you can also do control points, as you can see. You can adjust the colors here also. This has a very bright edge here for some reason. Let's make a control point here, and you can see that we can now adjust the brightness just of that element. Contrast, structure. Let's make another point back here, make this bigger. Is this also with the preview? No. So the tools work different. That's kind of strange a little bit with NIK Collection, that you have these different tools and they work in a different way. But you can see how you can fine-tune different areas to give them different kinds of looks. Should we make the frame over here brighter maybe? Okay. Yeah, did some adjustments. Maybe this is a little bit too much here with the brightness. Okay. Yeah, it's just like playing around a little bit. Show. Why are some things here like hidden from my thank you, Marco. Have a good time. If you don't finish, I'll be back in an hour. No, I'm not gonna do too much. I'm gonna do a half an hour more and then finish it. I just wanted to play around with black and white a little bit. Sorry, I'm going off track right now again. Let's see how much more we have here. Okay, so I shouldn't spend too much time on each of these pictures because there's a lot of stuff still to go. That's a nice one, if blurry. So that's is that very cropped into the picture? It looks like, but it's nice. I think it's a CPU turned upside down, so very nice picture. And also like yeah, you could adjust the colors maybe a little bit more, but it's nice. Like if you, what I mean with colors is like you have this gold color here, and if you make this background here a little bit more like how do you say, like this teal kind of blue, it would contrast more with the gold, and then like it's just a bigger contrast between the elements. But this is very similar to the picture with the brushes we had before. And by the way, this is maybe a good example. I think this is cropped into it. This is why it's so blurry. But this would be also a good example to like think about a prime lens, difference between a prime lens and a normal lens. And this is like the big difference is that with the prime lens, you can just take pictures with a sharpness and crispness and quality that you couldn't do with a normal lens, even with the same camera, which is why most people will tell you that rather get a good lens than a good camera. If you have a limited budget, like we all do, of course, and you can decide between getting a $2,000 camera and a $2,000 lens, or let's say like a $800 lens or a $800 camera, rather go with the $800 lens, because this gives you a lot more like quality in your pictures. The camera just gives you features that you use as a professional, but you don't really need as a hobbyist, while the lens gives you an overall improvement of your pictures no matter the camera you use it with. Of course, you need to check if your prime lens that you buy works with another upgrade of a camera you buy later on. And this is not given with all of the different brands out there. So some brands will say you can use this camera with our cheap camera. You can use the lens with the cheap cameras, but not with the better cameras. And then you're like, you have a problem, right? The main reason for that, by the way, is the frame in the camera. Is it full frame or is it not full frame? And then the lens might not even work for that, or have like a huge limitation on that. So you have to check with that beforehand that these two elements fit together. Right. Okay. Very nice picture. Alan, thank you very much for that. And the next one is from Ingo. I see you went with a good old trick from like social media. There's a lot of like tutorials right now on how to do these kind of pictures. Here you can see the setup, like binding this to the lens, or sometimes even if you have a second person, they can bind it to their fingers, or there's a frame or something, so you have a bit more flexibility. But if you're on your own, that's good. There you have a flash with a softbox, very, very nice also. And a little tool up here that's like a little radio station that communicates wirelessly with the flash. This is kind of nice because this is kind of independent from the camera. Not every camera, especially the cheaper cameras, can control all the functions of a flash. So these kind of things can not only control all the functions of a flash, mostly, but they also can control multiple flashes, which is also nice. If you grow in equipment and at some point you have like 3, 4, 5 different flashes or lights in your room, this kind of station can control all of them. at the same time, which is nice. It doesn't. It has more channels and options and stuff because it's made for that. So, and this is the end result, which is very nice. It's a really cool trick to use the perspective to point something out in the picture, and also you get this kind of blurriness, which always looks good. So this is a simple, easy way to get a really amazing picture and this kind of aha effect in there. So that's very nice. Yeah. Really, Zachary? That's interesting. Because this is exactly the reason why I don't want to buy another Nikon camera. Because I have old prime lenses and they do not work with my new camera. And the reason for that is because at some point Nikon decided that the motor for the lens, for the sharpness, like the focus, is not longer in the body but in the lens. And now the old prime lenses, which have this kind of like screw on the side where the body would have the motor to turn the focus, it's not there on the new camera, so you can basically throw them away, or you can focus with hand, which is still good because if you don't like do action photography, you most of the time have the time to focus by hand, and you get often better focusing with hand and more like to the point where you actually want it to be. So they still work in a way, but not without a focus. That's a big problem. All right, there we go. So pretty cool picture. Thank you very much, Ingo. Very nice idea on how to do that. If you look for more than these kind of things, you can again go to Pinterest. Let's go here to photo ideas. And you will probably find like a lot of this stuff here and so on. And then like these videos, you will find a ton of these videos where they show you, okay, this is for a light, but where they, like this one, you see here, like a siphon. Is this called a siphon? A mesh filter, whatever. You know what it is, like this for your noodles. And then you use that to create that light effect on her face, and boom, that's the end result. Although that looks different than here, but anyways, they did it in kind of that way. So you get a cool result from that. And you can find a lot of these kind of ideas here on Pinterest. Pinterest is really great for that. Yeah. Okay. By the way, if you have a little bit of money lying around that you don't need, Pinterest is now also stock. They had their IPO like, I don't know, like 3 or 6 months ago or something. So they are pretty new. And I think it's a good investment because I really like Pinterest. They have a lot of potential. Maybe in 5 years, 10 years, they could go really up. I don't know. I'm not saying do it, but if you have money that you don't need, could be an idea. All right. Good. And if you need photo ideas, go to Pinterest. Really good page for photo ideas. All right. Let's go on. We're all over the place today. Everything from stock advisors to photography and other softwares, everything in here today. So this is from Sue Tyler. Interesting photo. Thank you very much. From not a wine bottle as I thought it is. It's a kind of an oil bottle, I think, because of this little lip here. Why don't wine bottle have a lip? That would be useful, I think. Very nice picture. Again, not really completely sharp. I would really suggest that you try, most of you, not just Sue, but like most people, if you do photos, try a manual focus and look in your camera if it has something that's called focus peaking. This means you can use the screen on the back of your DSLR or other camera, and you can zoom into the area that you focus on and then really precisely adjust the manual focus so it's sharp at that point. And this will make it often sharper than the camera can do on its own, and you can really control where the sharpness is and stuff like that. Yes. Okay. So that's okay, there you go. So you do the autofocus isn't that important. That's what I was saying. So for that, it's really good. Yeah. For that, it's really nice. I use my prime lenses now like that, but I'm still thinking either Canon or Sony, not this year, next year, because for this year it's kind of a too big investment. I want to get like a very nice camera, but not this year, maybe the end of the year. I'm not sure. I was thinking the end of the year if I have the ability to travel to Asia, which probably not because of the pandemic, and if not, then I will just do it next year. Yeah. All right, let's go on to Artem, which this is a reflection in his phone, which I thought this is like a mirror in a car. It's interesting. Did you edit that to really enhance the reflection? And also, I think you no, you didn't. Oh, okay. I'm actually better at reading backwards than I thought, because I didn't realize this is actually backwards. Okay, interesting. Yeah, very nice. The only thing I don't like is, like, I really like the reflection, but the rest of the picture, like I said, no editing, but you can do basic adjustments to that, like with color and contrast and stuff like that. The rest of it could use some adjustment. And also you have some elements here, like here you can see the cup and this kind of, I don't know what that is. So that doesn't look as good. So the surrounding could be better from the setup, to have something that's also kind of interesting or pleasing for the eyes or something. Maybe this is, by the way, something I often suggest to, if I have customers for a web page and they say they want to do their own photos, and I know getting a background, especially a professionally looking background, good is really difficult. And I tell them, if you can't do it good, do it bad, but intentionally. And if you want to do it bad intentionally, it just means you put something in the background that looks good on its own. And if it's not perfect in the picture, you don't really realize it that much. So for example, if you have natural wood, or if you have gravel or stuff like that in the background, it often can look good. For example, like jewelry or something, you put it on some natural stones or some natural like wood, not treated wood, but like this cut split wood from an axe and split and like really rough, and you put some jewelry on that and take a picture of that. That looks good, and nobody is like, you don't see if it's done in a good or a bad way, and that makes it a lot easier to take a picture like that, rather than what often they want this kind of, I don't know, let's say you want to have what's it called, velour or something, like this kind of fabric in the background. It should be super flat and look good. That is very difficult to photograph in a nice way, and without any kind of dust or dirt on there. That's also very difficult to get this actually really clean and look good in the photo. So rather like just take a little bit of wood or gravel for that. Okay, anyways, let's go on. What the is going on here? So these are, I guess, some garden frog sculptures. They look like they're sitting in a mouse trap. Sabine made this picture. Old love or only rubbish? Okay, interesting. It's a nice picture. Maybe I would have turned it around so you don't need to bend your neck like crazy to see what's going on. Especially because, like, if you see a face, you of course want to see the face right side up, because then we have this kind of emotional connection to the face. So we always like try to turn our head to see the face the right position. It's an interesting picture though. Yeah, I think. If you would have a different perspective on it, a different angle, and maybe try to have some parts more blurred and others not, it would give you a better idea of where to look. I mean, in this case, it's you are, of course, attracted to these big eyes and the faces, just like we are always attracted to faces. But all of the rest has the same kind of contrast and sharpness and detail, so it's competing with the rest, and you're like, it's always like if the artist is doing it like that, then it's weighted in that way for a reason, and you try to figure out that reason. But if it isn't there, and then you kind of search, and your search isn't going anywhere. So it's kind of better to give it some kind of like guidance with this kind of thing, you know. And you can do it in camera. You can also do it in post. Let's go real quick here, just to show you. Sorry. I will just do a tilt shift here. Like it doesn't, from this angle, doesn't make sense. We're just talking about the attention, guiding the attention. This is just the thing I want to show you. Ideally, it should be in a different angle. Is this doing something? Yeah, maybe like this. So you can see if I do it like this, it's more obvious that the main thing here are is the face of them, you know. Or you could also like maybe make this a little bit more in focus down here and then less up here. So we have these with the arms maybe, which is nice that it looks like they hold each other like so. And then maybe rotate the document. Maybe that's too much. But you can see now it's easier to look at the picture like this. I feel like before you would have turned your head to see what's going on. I know that this, like, it looks good and the other one doesn't look as good. But here you don't have to turn your head as much. Maybe you can crop it differently in that way. Let's make a square crop here. Let's see, maybe like so. Let's try this. Yeah, like this. Maybe. Just an idea. As you know, I'm also a fan of a vignette, so we can also put a vignette on here to like cancel it off to the sides a little bit. Let's try that. Like so. So we don't pay attention to these areas down here. We really focus on the couple in the middle here. And now it's like the eye is guided more towards them, and you know, okay, these are the stars, and the rest is there, but it's just there. You don't have to pay attention to that, you know. So yeah, that could be helpful. All right, thank you very much, Sabine. Let's go on to the next one. Wow. Okay, what is? Oh my God. Okay, that's a guy who has knives through his body. That is a very how would you say? Macabre. Macabre. You say macabre? Really? Not macabre, you say macabre? Morbid. Morbid humor. Okay, but interesting. Very nice. Interesting, yeah. From the editing, it looks like you went a little bit too hard, and this is why you get these kind of glowy, shiny parts around that. Around the outer edges of your sculpture. You see here, like this is dark here in the middle, and then here around it's glowing. So this is if you do the adjustments too hard. Always look out for these glowing edges. That means you just overdid the adjustments and you'd have to do it differently. Again, by the way, if you do NIK Collection, you can just select this middle part and then say brighter or darker, and this is where you don't get these kind of glowy edges because you just address certain areas. So that is kind of helpful to do that. One problem here, to be nitpicky, is you should have used a tripod or something else on the table to put your camera, and then use a timer on in the camera, so you're not in the reflection. I can see you here with the hands and your head down here and stuff like that. So if you would use the timer of your camera, you wouldn't be in the reflection. Another idea, by the way, if you don't have a tripod with you, but you want to use a tripod, is if you have a jacket or any kind of cloth that's a little bit bigger and like stuffy, like just make it into a ball and then you put your camera inside, and you can put it in a lot of different angles and it will stay there, and then put it on the self timer. What is it called? I don't know what. And then have the camera take a picture on its own, which is a very good way also to do like long time exposure if you're in a church or something. You can't use a tripod, just use your jacket, not your shirt, of course, don't get naked in the church, but your jacket, and then put the camera inside. Not inside, but on top of it, on this kind of ball of cloth, if you know what I mean. All right, very nice. Next one is from Yvette. Thank you very much for the picture. Not too much composition going on here, to be honest. I would rather maybe have like focus on the like photograph this what is it called in English? An egg whisk or egg whip. Okay, egg beater. There we go, an egg beater. Like photograph it from this way into the structure here, or maybe from this way to have more like a strange, interesting angle to turn it more like in this kind of a sculpture again, or something else. But in this case, it's just lying on the table, so I'm not sure what the idea of the composition. Oh, this is the before picture. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. So this is the before picture. I was wondering. And this is like going more into it. This is more interesting. Okay. And you don't even know what it is. It could be spokes of a bike wheel. So yeah, interesting. You got some violet light in there. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Maybe it would be good if you understood a little bit better from looking at the picture what it is you look at. This is very abstract, but it's still cool from the starting point to this picture. By the way, here you can see what I talked about before. These little like dust particles and little like tiny micro hairs and stuff that you hardly see with your eyes. To get this off of fabric or other stuff that is small is really hard. So this is what I talked about before, that do it intentionally bad instead of trying to do it good. And then just if you try to do it, make it professionally, any kind of little error stands out a lot. And if you do it like bad in the first place with wood or gravel or stuff like that, it doesn't stand out at all. And if it does, it looks like it's style. So that's very helpful. Yeah, pretty cool. Very nice idea, and very like good transformation from an everyday object to an abstract picture. Very interesting. Thank you very much, Yvette. Oh, there we have a hand. Let's see what we have here from Oh, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Christian, just Christian, that's it? Okay. Vergara. It's a writing I've never seen that in that way, but okay, pretty cool. All right. Painting my background. Is this another before picture? No, this is the actual picture, right? Okay. So that's interesting. Very nice. So with the painted skin, and again, you can see like this, like turning out. Always, if you get rid of the color, you immediately pay attention to the structure of the surface, and it becomes more like a sculpture. So it is really interesting to have this fading from normal skin color into this more like painted abstract structure of the skin. So that's very nice, very interesting, and also on the background, which has the same color, it looks like a little bit of camouflage. So it's interesting from even kind of a story aspect in there. Very nice picture. It's a very like head-on, like very straightforward perspective, but it works in this way because you have all the kind of composition in the picture itself already, and it's okay that the hand, everything is in focus, even in the background, because it's bringing you this kind of transition through this kind of paint on the hand, you know. So there is still this kind of differentiation and kind of story and guiding of the eye from the normal hand into this kind of abstract hand into the background. So there is a flow of this energy that I was talking about before. Very nice, very interesting concept. There's a picture from Eileen. Thank you for posting that. Very nice. Okay, very interesting. So you have some pencils, color pencils, and the shavings, basically you would say, and then the little shavings of the color part, and even like lines that go from like a little bit of drawing on the paper that go towards the actual color pencils. So very nice idea. And it has kind of this kind of rainbow structure, and it connects in the top too from the shaving. So that's pretty interesting. Very nice. I really like it. I wonder how this would have looked if you photographed it from the other way around. Or like put the camera more to the ground, which, by the way, is a good reason to photograph with your smartphone, because of course the lens of the smartphone can go a lot closer to the ground than your actual camera can, because the lens is just too big to go too close to the ground, but your smartphone can. So this kind of close-up pictures, you can do a lot more and really interesting things with your smartphone. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, thank you very much. Very nice idea and composition. Pretty cool. Let's go on to the next one. Original photo. And then you cropped into that. Okay, so this is the cropped into picture, and this is the original picture. Wait a second. Is this actual cropped, or is it just like... Yeah, it's cropped a little bit, right? Yeah, that's nice. That's interesting. Pretty cool. Also a little bit of editing in there to give it more contrast and bring out the colors here a little bit more. Again, you can see like these little dust elements here that is so hard to get out of the picture, and like to get it clean before, but it's really hard to do that. Very nice. The focus area could be a little bit bigger, I think, maybe, because it's like really, really thin here, just like in that area. So to get a little bit more of that wood structure would be cool in focus, but it's it's really cool. It's very interesting. Pretty nice picture, also with like the colors of the guitar and stuff. It's a really nice combination. Yeah. And one thing maybe I'm not a huge fan of is that the perspective is a little bit undecided, because it looks like it's centered, but then it's going off to the side, but a little bit, not in a decisive way where you say this is like decisively going to one side or the other side and bringing like a certain energy into it with this kind of angle. It's just like a little bit off center, which is with these kind of things is often if they are not either really centered or really off center, but just in the middle, they often feel like a little bit like, is it an accident? Was it meant like that or stuff? Unless there is like a reason that you can really understand why it is just this slight change in there, you know? So maybe try to, you can play around with that to go really centered, where all of these guitar strings flow towards the center in the same way, or really go more off center where then they decisively flow into a certain direction, you know? Or maybe move your camera over there so all of them like go towards one of the strings, you know? Stuff like that. You can play around with that. I think even in the original picture, this is more centered. If you look here, it's a little bit rotated to the side here, as you can see. But this feels like it's more centered here from the picture, from the crop of the picture. Okay, interesting. Thank you very much, Vincenzo. All right, next one is from Klaus. Office tools. Directly with the phone camera. Oh, nice. Okay, so this is another thing that the phone can do really well, because you can like go really close or far, and you have these different lenses built into your camera. Is that it's easier. You don't need a prime lens to have this kind of effect where the background is really blurry and what you see in the foreground is pretty sharp. So that's very nice. It's a good idea. Nice composition. You maybe see too much of the object. You could play around with that to go closer, crop a little bit more out of that. To make it more a pattern, more a structure. We can try this real quick if we find something that's... Whoa, that's the wrong software. There we go. Let's go clipboard and then crop. And let's see, for example, if we would take only this part here, would that be more interesting? Let's see. We could go like that. And we can also move this picture around now. Let's see. There's some details here in the reflection for some reason. Maybe like this, where you see a little bit less of it. You still get all of the details. You see it's a globe, you can read the countries, and you see this kind of office, what are they called in English? I don't remember. But you don't get too much information. And if you have something that's still like outside of the picture that your brain has to complete, basically, the story, it feels better often than to show everything at the same time. Here you get a little bit, maybe too much information. It's still a cool picture. Okay. Thank you very much, Klaus. Oh, okay. Going abstract. Joseph, thank you very much. So you have some piano keys with some interesting lighting. Again, one light source often makes it easier to get a dramatic picture. So that's pretty cool. You can still see the individual keys and this kind of course, black and white pattern that you have on a piano. So you can see that these are piano keys. And at the same time, it looks like this kind of spotlight you would have on a stage if a star goes on the stage. So it kind of has this kind of feeling of a show going on or something like that. So it's pretty cool. Very nice idea. Like the composition, also the angle, that it's kind of this stranger angle that makes it more dynamic. Really nice. Thank you very much, Joseph. How many more? Oh, we only have 2 more pictures. Okay, cool. Oh, nice. Very nice work with the blur. And this is what I talked about before. Like if now everything would be sharp, it would not be as interesting. And now you only have this sharp. Your brain can fit in the other parts how the rest would look if it's sharp. But because it's just focused on this part, one thing is picked out. You can concentrate on this quality of the fruit you see before you. You know the background isn't as important. That's why it's blurred. And so you can really like have this kind of feeling of biting into a really juicy, nice fruit without being distracted by the rest of the picture. You can just like focus on that feeling that you have towards that kind of sensation. That's very nice. Also very good editing with the colors. Really like that. Very, very like nice. Like it really looks like juicy and ripe, even if you don't know the state of the fruit actually, but just from the colors. And also nice differentiation from the background with this kind of black and white looking, but still warm background. Really cool. Very nice. Good work, Marve. Okay, and this one is the last one. Oh, is that a real animal? I think so. I thought it's a sculpture. In Michigan, this is an everyday object in September. Oh, okay, interesting, cool. I know, of course, with these live animals, it's hard to get a good perspective because, well, they just fly away or jump around. So you have to be quick about that. This is more of the kind of picture that you would take just to have the picture to document that you've seen this creature, but not specifically making it dynamic or like giving it a certain like photographic quality. This is what I talked about before when I said the difference between taking a picture and having the picture become its own thing and become alive, you know? So this is more like a documentation thing of been there, seen that, but it isn't a picture that like gives it a certain like a live quality of the photo itself. You could of course enhance this again if you for example turn it into black and white, because then you can get a lot more quality out of it, or with some more editing to make it, like I said, more live, more interesting colors, like we did before with the little raccoon. Where's that picture? To go from like this picture, which doesn't really have that much going on in the picture, this one here, and then just through editing, turning it into that, which has a lot more like story and focus and different elements and color contrast and all these kind of things in there. So you can do a lot just through the editing afterwards too. Whew. All right, so we went through all the pictures and also edited some of your pictures. I would say that's pretty much for today. Also, my voice is starting to break. We are at 3 hours now, so that's also pretty good from the timing. We can talk some more. Klaus said something. You asked for an everyday object in this, and an everyday tool for me. Not sure what you mean by that. Oh, okay, from your picture, I see. Just a 10-second photo with my iPhone, unedited. It is a floating globe. Yeah. No, but the task was not just to take a photo from an everyday object, but to take it in the most creative way. Like, how far can you go with it? And this is often like a good chance to take a little bit of time with the picture, especially on your phone. You can take a lot of pictures, try out a lot of different things, and just see how far you can push the picture to be more creative, to reveal something specific in the picture. Not revealing it in the sense of, oh, there was something hidden below the object, but revealing it in the sense of, I worked out a specific kind of angle or point of view that brings a certain pattern to life, or gives it a certain quality, or gives it a certain aha effect or stuff like that. And it's good to use an everyday simple object, because this gives you a lot of control. If it's a object that already feels alienating to you, that you don't see that often, like maybe a luxury car or something like that, you don't have as much experience, and you don't know how to you feel towards that object because you don't see it as often. But if it's an everyday object that you see and you don't have a specific feeling towards it because it's just like that kind of normal to you, you have this kind of experience on, if you photograph it in a certain way, how does the feeling change? How does the effect change? How does the look change? And this is the major part of the learning experience. You want to know the difference and feel the difference. And so if you have a lot of control over the object and how you feel towards it, you can differentiate that a lot better. And this gives you a better chance to understand your progress and your impact that you have with doing different things with photography. All right. Whew. Thank you, Jeff. That's very nice. Thank you for that. Okay. I would say that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in my next tutorial and in the Facebook group and all the other cool things that we are doing together. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. I have to find the end screen. There we go. Have a nice day. Bye.